All right. We're going live now. So what were we saying about the guy who got arrested? The guy just got arrested.
I'll show you the video.
I don't think anybody else can see the video but us.
Yeah. Well, they'll know what we're talking about because it's pretty famous.
Looks like a guy in England. Pretty drunk, getting arrested.
Gentlemen, this is Democracy Manifest.
That's pretty old.
Have a look at the headlock here. See that chap over there? He'll take your hand off my penis. This is the way we got the penis, people. It's a council. But what is the judge eating a meal? The succulent
Eating a meal.
meal.
That's got to be old. It's got to be 70s or something.
Yes. I see that you know your judo. And you, sir, are you waiting to receive
It's got to be the most polite.
Now, get your hands off
This must be the most polite arrest in history.
Oh, yeah.
Dude,
Yeah. If I ever get arrested, that's how I'm going to act.
what?
I'm going to be,
Put on a fake British accent for your arrest.
yes. And just,
Before I forget, we gotta get this out of the way. So we're gonna do a raffle. It's scheduled for which one's first? Memorial Day or Labor Day? Memorial Day, right? Memorial Day, because there's no white after Labor Day. It's Memorial Day starts off the summer.
hold on, let me see.
Oh come on, it's Memorial, dude. It's Memorial Day. I'm gonna go out on a limb. Final answer, Memorial Day. So we're scheduling a raffle for Memorial Day.
Hold on.
It's first. Memorial Day's first. May 25th. May 25th. We'll cut out the middle, man.
That's Memorial Day.
Memorial Day?
Yes.
Okay, I'm good. May 25th, Memorial Day. We're going to do a raffle. We're giving away I want to say 1999 Pontiac. It's $25 for a ticket. The proceeds it's actually for Esmeralda's brother-in-law. He's got a couple of medical issues in Mexico, and he needs to move into a private hospital. So we're charging $25 a ticket. What we're going to do when we give it away, just so full disclosure, like it is friends and family buying the ticket. So if somebody weird wins the car, I'm going to do it live. So you just know the fix is not in. So I'm just going to go to Google. So if we say we sell 150 tickets, I'll put 1 through 150 and I'll do like that number generator.
Is there a predetermined number of tickets already?
We want to sell 250 tickets is the goal. But if we come up short, we're still going to do the raffle.
Right.
The 25th. Just so people know when to tell.
It's a 1999 Pontiac?
No, I want to say 90. Don't.
What kind of Pontiac?
It's black. I'm not a car person.
Oh, okay. Is it a
You've seen
Trans Am?
it, the one that sits out front all the time. The black Pontiac that sits out front. My niece used to drive it. It runs good. My sister was driving it for a while too.
I don't know.
It runs good.
Okay.
It's clean. It's a car. It's a good starter car. For sure. Some 60-year-old. They're gonna wreck. So why not go ahead and wreck this one? $25. You will need to have insurance and stuff, so you can take it. We're not gonna give it away unless you put it in your name. So all that good stuff.
Give it away now.
Yeah. What's that?
Give it away now.
Yeah. Exactly.
Or actually on the 25th.
What's that?
You won't be giving it away now. You'll be giving it away on the 25th.
Oh, exactly.
Yes.
So we're gonna send you that text with some stuff I wanted to talk to you about.
Okay.
This week. What do you think? First off, so this currently happened in February. That is an Ahmad. I want to say, I don't know his last name, but the guy in Georgia, he got shot.
What's your name?
Oh come on, we're doing a live show. No professionalism in here. We'll do it live. We'll do it live.
It's working. Just add your cell phone over.
Hold on. I'm going to find it for you.
The link. Look for
Hold on.
Look for Scott and TOmate.
Hold on. I'm
Learning to Love the Apocalypse that we went with. Scott and TOmate Apocalypse.
I thought it was gonna be Scooter.
Scooter and TOmate. Learn to Love the Apocalypse. I forgot our sponsors. We are sponsored by that raffle. We're sponsored by Apocalypse.
Did you get it?
You found it already? We are sponsored by the Apocalypse, the same bringer of murder bees and COVID-19.
Murder hornets.
Mortar Hornets.
I saw a cool video earlier. It was a. What now? Need to.
Feedback. It's our producer. It's
Yeah.
our producer, Erica.
I saw a pretty cool video earlier. It was a praying mantis eating the head off of a murder hornet.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know if somebody. I don't know if it's a sanctioned fight, like they set it up. It looked like it was set up. Like it looks like they put the murder hornet here and then and closed it. But then the praying mantis just comes out from behind and just grabs it and just devours its head.
I would have bet everything on that murder hornet.
Well, he positioned himself in a manner to where the little stinger it didn't sting him. So
He's just too quick for it.
I
Or
guess.
he snuck up on it, you said.
I guess I don't know. I'll have to show it to you later.
Okay. But if those bees were white, they'd be manslaughter bees. Went down in my mind instead of murder hornets.
Probation and probates.
Whatever.
They just get probation.
Hefty fine.
Okay.
Nice talking to you. Well, what do you think? What's your opinion? If you haven't seen the video, it's pretty graphic. You see it. You see the end of it. You see a guy. He's a black male. I think he just turned. He would have been 25 like this week.
Mm-hmm.
And he's being followed by two white guys in a pickup truck. And you see him struggling for the shotgun. And then the mom tries to break away and then gets shot. Like to me, that one. They said they saw him going around in like a house that was under construction, and there's been break-ins in that neighborhood. So they thought, okay, let's track this guy down. Is it safe to say you were in law enforcement? We can talk about that, right? Your former career in law enforcement.
I prefer not to, but I would rather just say that from a common sense standpoint that you wouldn't. Let's say that you or me or anyone else was driving down the road. If I drove, say, down the road and down this driveway and saw somebody I didn't know going into a house that's under construction, my first instinct would not be to try to confront that person.
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Yeah. I mean, it could be his house getting built or
Yeah,
it's none of your business.
it's absolutely none of your business. And if you think there's something going on, just be a good witness and call the police.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they're there for.
The only reason I said about the former police officer thing is because it turns out the shooter, the dad in that scenario, is like a retired sheriff in that. So you would think he would know. And that's part of the reason why it took so long. They just got arrested, I think, yesterday. They finally did make an arrest in that case.
I think it was only after the video was released.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It was definitely the outrage. Like the district attorney down there, when it first happened, he's like, we didn't have any evidence to arrest him.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, and then Biden came out and was like, this is outrage.
Yeah, it's just a really, really sad situation. They had no business at all. You know, if the situation had been different, it had been an off-duty cop who would have saw that happening, and then at the same time, I don't even know if that's something you want to get involved with.
Yeah, like why open yourself up to that?
Because you don't have any intermediate weapons. You don't have a taser. You don't have pepper spray. You don't have handcuffs.
Yeah.
You shouldn't anyway. So I don't know why you would just put yourself out there in that situation.
He has shotguns.
Yeah, and he had a shotgun, and I think the other guy the father, I think it was, had a pistol. So I don't know. The fact of what was happening prior to that, whether he was jogging, which seems to be the narrative that I'm hearing on the news, that seems to be I mean, it's not irrelevant, but the fact is they had no business trying to make a citizen's arrest or anything like that. I don't think.
No, I totally agree. And then what makes it so, I guess, timely right now was you see the news story about the day before yesterday in Indianapolis. Now, see, this was a little different. You haven't seen this one. There's a kid. He's probably 17-ish.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it was a stolen car or he was just reckless driving his girlfriend's car or something to that effect, but the police pull him over. And I think he was evading the police. And then he gets out and the police are like, hey, stop. And he's like, nope. And the thing about it, the kid, who's driving recklessly was like on Facebook Live or something like that, or Instagram Live. All this is happening.
Yeah, I
live.
think I saw. I didn't get to read the story, but apparently he was live streaming the pursuit or something.
Yeah. He was,
Yeah.
he was like joking about it as it was happening. And
There's another video of 2 girls that are doing the exact same thing. I don't know if you saw that one.
No, what happened to them? Were they okay? Or?
I think they ended up wrecking, and then they were kind of like, what are we doing? We're crazy. Look at this. And then
It's white
but-
girls. Not that it makes a difference. But
I don't remember. I think they were black girls, but then
Okay.
I can't remember. But then I think they wreck, and then it's weird after they wreck, their attitude completely changes to like, please don't shoot me.
like it got serious real quick.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know. Anything for clout. I guess you want to get an audience to watch your videos, and that's interesting. And then
Yeah, why not just make a stupid podcast?
exactly.
People they're desperate for attention.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. But anyway, go back to the story about the kid in Indianapolis.
Oh yeah.
So I think the perception has to be different on this one because, for one, it was either a stolen car or he was definitely driving recklessly. Like, I don't think it's in dispute. And then the police are like, stop. So it was like he was in the midst of a crime, when he got shot. And I think the outrage over this one was you can hear, like, the police didn't know that he was streaming, and you can hear him say something to the effect of, oh, this is going to be a closed casket. Like, the police are like joking about it. But even still, like, that's somebody's son, that's somebody's brother. My heart goes out to him. But, when you're in the midst of committing a crime, you kind of open yourself up.
Well, did you hear about the one? I can't remember. I think it was in Florida. That's why we need to fact check and come up with stories that
Where's
we
our
actually want to
producer?
talk about. Exactly.
Yeah, our producer are doing the
But there was a story about this. I want to say it was Orlando, but it may not have been Orlando. So don't hold me to that. But there was a off-duty police officer. I'm pretty sure there was I think it was a DJ actually. There was a DJ that was coming from. I don't know where he was coming from, but his car broke down, and this cop pulled up, and the DJ was actually on 911 with the police or emergency services saying, hey, I need a tow truck. I'm hearing I broke down. Can somebody come help me? And the only way that he was able to figure out what happened was because he was on 911 at the time and it was being recorded.
You said it was a DJ and a cop?
No, he was just a DJ, and a cop pulled up.
Okay.
And I don't know what happened, but I can't remember exactly. But the cop ended up shooting the DJ, and then he was like, "Well, he threatened my life or whatever." And then the tape clearly shows that he didn't. The 911 tape.
Oh wow! You sure it was in Florida? It was in Florida for sure.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'll have to find that.
Oh, okay.
That's why I need to. But it seems like everything happens in Florida.
It does. Germany or Florida.
Yeah.
Remember that show, Love Line?
I remember Love Line. Yeah.
And
Adam Kroll and Dr. Drew. I used to listen to that all the time. Yeah.
Speaking of that, I'm thinking we might owe Dr. Drew an apology. Anyway, I brought Love Line because they used to play that game, Germany or Florida. Everything crazy happens in either Germany or Florida. But remember when Dr. Drew came out in about January, February, and he was saying, "Oh, don't overreact to this COVID-19 stuff."
Mm-hmm.
And then like the next day, you see like his stuff get pulled because they were closing schools and everything else. Well, now like the latest, and I'm not a doctor or a scientist or barely literate or anything like that, but they're saying now that it might have been pretty much we overreacted in this COVID-19 thing.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been following that at all?
I know that they keep changing the models, or that the models have of course, the models predicted far greater numbers of people that would die, but at the same time, I think that they included social distancing in with those models. Is that right? So I don't know. I think that in a situation like this, we need to err on the side of public safety. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, that's the thing. I tend to be a centrist whenever it comes to stuff like this, just because I understand that people love their freedom, obviously, but at the same time, I'm kind of going off topics about the protests and reopen the economy, but I just think that we need to find a balance between, and I think that actually that the states are handling it pretty well as far as maintaining a balance between safety and gradually reopening and keeping an eye on things,
Yeah.
just to make sure that nothing gets out of hand and there's not a second spike where there's a lot more infected and more people become infected and die.
Well, the latest, I don't know if I call it conspiracy theories, but I guess the latest theory is that, like I was saying, that it's way overblown, and like, yeah, it is. People are in the hospital, people are dying, but it's like, they're pretty much if you're in the hospital and you die right now, they're saying you're dying of COVID-19. So like, if you have a heart attack, but you're having trouble breathing, they're saying it's COVID-19, which
I'm
you're gonna have trouble breathing dying anyway. Like, there's no way not to die and have trouble breathing.
Yeah, I've wondered about that. Just I saw the memes where it shows a guy jumping out of a plane without a parachute, and they're like, oh, "We died of COVID-19," and things like that. But I don't. Like I said, I think that because it's a novel virus and something we don't know anything about, it's still relatively young. I mean, was it November or December when it first originated, or when I first found it? So we're barely 5 months into it. So I don't know. I think that we need to definitely need to proceed with caution. But as far as the conspiracy theories are interesting. I mean,
what's your favorite one right now? Like, what?
Oh, the ID 2020, of course.
What's that?
The planned microchips and the vaccination records implanted into the skin that shows that you're actually immune to it or vaccinated against it.
Or that you just don't have it.
Yeah, so you can freely travel and go into sporting events and things. But also that, you haven't heard about that yet?
Yeah, that one's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
They were saying like that. Was it Bill Gates? Like he copyrighted the virus, pretty much the human virus or something crazy like that. Have you heard that aspect of it?
Yeah, so that's the thing. I see Bill Gates a lot. Bill Gates is everywhere, it seems like.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's because he made that TED talk and he was like, our next thing that's going to hit us is a big virus, and then like a few months later, it was a big virus.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that it's because you really need to, whenever you hear something, you need to look into it, because there was something going around about Bill Gates saying that he wanted population control and that he wanted to, I don't know if you heard about that, but then they took what he said out of context, it seems. I think he said that there's something to do with, it wasn't eugenics. He wasn't talking about just rounding up people and killing them, or just systematically killing people. It was taken out of context, and I can't remember. That's why I need to plan what we're talking about better, because it was. I don't think he's some. It's easy to latch on to conspiracy theories. It really is, but I don't think that he's out to decimate the population.
No. I mean, no.
But and at the same time, though, the idea of having an implanted chip, that sounds like some Book of Revelation, Mark of the Beast type stuff.
Yeah.
And it seems like when I was growing up, I heard more about that. Like the Mark of the Beast. I don't know if maybe it was where I was born and raised. It seems like that was more of a evangelical Southern Baptist style.
Well, no, I think there was that. I think that had to do with just like the turn of the century. We had all those. The world's going to end in 2000. We had the end of the world movies that were coming out and stuff. So I mean, I think that was just it kind of faded away because of that. And if you look back in history, like every century change, they think 1800, 1900.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. The ID 2020, though, I think that of all of the things that's came up as far as the Mark of the Beast, where it's like you won't be able to buy, sell, trade, or participate in society without the Mark of the Beast. I mean, that's what that sounds like. I mean, it's
definitely like
if you're not going to be able to interact with people or go to sporting events or public gatherings unless you can prove with somebody scanning you that you're immune. And also, I think it said it was going to have your vaccination history and other information as well on there besides health related. So they could scan it with an RFID reader and find out about you. So it just seems like something fun to think about. Well, not really fun, but something interesting to consider.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, if they're talking about putting the chip in your hand or your forehead, and then I mean, it definitely does sound like some mark of the beast type of stuff. I don't know. The jury's out on that one. And they pretty much did that in Korea. I think they were doing it with people's cell phones.
That's another thing. Have you heard about the Apple Google contact tracing?
No, what's that? Oh yeah, it's the same thing. Like if you come out and you get sick, they'll be like, okay, you were at the grocery store.
Yeah. So I think the way that it works, there are apps that you can download that say, if you have your Bluetooth turned on, if I have my Bluetooth turned on and you have your Bluetooth, say I have
Coca-Cola. Maybe pass that under the table right there.
This one.
Yeah, that Coke right there. Just put it underneath the table right there. Yeah, we'll keep that off
camera.
Okay. And
but so the way it was supposed to work is, the iOS and Android are the two main operating systems for mobile. So the way it's going to work is Google and Apple are teaming up to work to do some cross-platform activity to where everybody that you come into, say if you go to Walmart, and everyone in the proximity, their phones will share keys, like unique identifiers with each other. And then whenever they leave there, they'll go to somewhere else and they'll share all these unique identifiers. So everybody that you're in contact with with your telephone will keep a record of who you've been around. And then I think the way it's supposed to work is if you become self-diagnosed, that you say, or if you become diagnosed, you self-report and say, oh, I've been diagnosed with COVID-19. So it sends that information to the server, and then it locates all of the other phones that you've been around for the last 30 days, I think it was.
Yeah. And
it sends them messages saying that you were in proximity of a carrier.
Here's the thing about that. I don't like. Yeah, it sounds really scary, but they're already doing that. Like they're pretty much just letting us in on that.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like there's no way you can tell me. Even when Obama was president, he was coming out. We just collected metadata. We just, there's nobody sitting in a room analyzing it, and it turns out it's exactly what they were doing. They're sitting in a room analyzing everybody's data.
They were.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, they're already doing that. I guess I wouldn't mind that so much, because like I said, they're just letting us in on it.
Who was it? Was it James Comey that said that? What was this quote about privacy? Pretty much, James Comey is like, you don't have privacy. Don't even imagine that you do.
Yeah. Yeah. No doubt in my mind.
So,
I mean, we've already given it up, and it seems kind of like I was really like, here are these kooky conservatives again, marching and yelling at people in the Capitol and stuff. But maybe, just maybe, they have a point. Like we gave up our liberties pretty quick. And it was at the time legitimate fear, but the government is not good about giving liberties back.
That's the big fear, right?
Yeah.
But whenever I read the forums and just read postings of it, people provide precedent through court cases that whenever there's a health emergency, that what they're doing is the courts have ruled that it's constitutional.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Like pretty much they can do in the name of safety, then get away with.
I can't remember the exact
court cases.
The court cases that set the precedent, but yeah, I guess I don't know.
Do you think Bashir's doing a good job, or he did a good job, or?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a guy I used to work for, and we go back and forth texting every day, and he would swear up and down like the Bashir's the worst thing that ever happened to Kentucky. Yeah, just the way he's been handling this, and my question would be like, what
else would you want him to do?
Exactly, like what options should he have just ignored it? Should he have just only?
You know what I think that happens with that is I think people, myself included, and others, we get is whenever something like this happens, that's unprecedented. We sometimes maybe lash out,
Mhm.
You know, like what I would like to ask your friend, what else would he have liked for him to do?
Yeah.
You know, like whenever the face mask directive came out, we were like, oh, well, that's absurd. But at the same time, um, they're not. I think that we look at it as because of the iPhone and just constant access to alternative ways of thinking, alternative theories that we see, or we may think, oh, well, there's nefarious reasons that they're doing this, or there's other things that's happening. But you know, in the real world, he surrounds himself with professionals and people that know what they're doing. So I'd be willing to bet the house that he's doing the stuff in the best interest of the people.
Yeah.
I could.
And I'm sure, his worst case scenario, or, his most feared outcome is a big recession.
Well, of course.
Yeah. Like, and I had an interesting thought about that. So, the realist in me, and I know this is going to be controversial, please don't call me or anything. But the realist in me is like, I can see both sides of the argument. Okay. So like, yeah, if we didn't close down, for sure, the most vulnerable people in society are the ones who's going to pay that price.
Mm-hmm.
And as a country, what the heck is that?
Oh, that's one of the dogs.
Is it a dog crying? Yeah. Okay. We don't have everybody tied up.
Well, we do, but that wasn't it.
That's not that. Okay.
That wasn't it.
The realist in me is like, okay, yeah, people are going to die regardless. So now we're taking years off of people's life. If we just stayed in general population, so maybe that's a fair price to pay for not going into a huge recession. You know what I mean? That's the realist in me. And of course, I say that, but I'm not in any position of authority to make that decision. It's different when there's actual lives and not hypothetical numbers you're talking about. Of course, yeah, we need to preserve life, but we put prices on people's lives every day. Like we don't give 80-year-olds new hearts when they need a heart transplant.
Well, and I was listening to the Sam Harris podcast, which I still need to send you. Sam Harris has excellent podcast, and he said that of course we place dollar figures on human life on a daily basis. How he said that you look at what examples did he give? The airplane safety and other safety concerns as far as cars. I think he's like, of course you could make the most
like
safe car, but it would cost God knows how much. So there's a trade-off at that point. You're ultimately sacrificing safety for affordability.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess it's depends on how flexible I can't remember what the term in economics was. It's terrible, but there's
you're an economics major, right?
Yeah, but I can't remember what the term is. But it's not flexibility. But whenever you need to look at it how not the cost benefit, but how what's safety worth versus what the bottom line is, I guess.
Yeah.
And then you got to figure it like there's just like a slide rule, like in the sweet spot, I guess, that they shoot for, because they could probably make a $200,000 car that's you're almost guaranteed to survive a crash in, right?
Right.
But at the same time, people don't want to spend $200,000, or they can't spend $200,000, so they have to make a $20,000 car that's reasonably safe, I guess. But either way, Sam Harris explained it better than I could because he's a neuroscientist and PhD and a moral philosopher, and I'm none of those.
Don't sell yourself short.
Yeah.
What else? What else were we talking about this week? Oh, so this guy in Louisville, and then you might be the least qualified person to talk about this with. But do you have an opinion, or you even thought about it, or like? Because it's just so much on the outside, it might not even like be a thought to you. But like Black Republicans, do you look at them any differently than the other Republicans? Honestly, like does it seem at least strange?
No, I don't. Obviously, black Republicans are
Take a
the
step
minority.
back.
I mean, it's
They're an anomaly. for
yeah,
sure.
it's that. I mean, obviously, just because of the there's fewer black Republicans, then yeah, of course, whenever you see one, it would be no different than um, spotting any other aberration or whatever the word is. Like whenever
Anomaly.
an anomaly, yeah, it'd be like spotting any other anomaly. But I don't know. I think that if the political ideology is
Just
what
lines
it
up.
is, what it is, and that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a I forget the guy's name, but there's the attorney general out of Louisville, Kentucky right now. Somebody called him like pretty much up a time because he's a Republican and and Republicans are backing him pretty heavily. And then the only reason I bring it up at all is like I would say they don't have a valid point and it's not fair. Like we shouldn't, as a people, African Americans should be shoehorned inside any form of thinking. But I think the issue that people were having with him is that he came out so favorably, with Trump. Like Trump backed him real heavy, and he didn't like disavow that at all. And I don't know. Like I want to give Trump like all the credit in the world. Like he asked to be president. He ran for it, and some of the decisions he's made like are just mind-boggling. Like how do you not come out and say that the Klan are bad people? That's a softball.
Mm-hmm. Oh, speaking of which, did you see where the guy in California?
Yeah.
He said they say you need to wear masks. So he put on a KKK hood. He just went to the store.
Yeah, I saw that, and I didn't know was he just trying to make a
I don't
comment?
know,
Or do you
probably.
think he was like really in the Klan?
I don't think it was probably just one of
See what he could get away with.
just for shock value. I would probably think.
Yeah, I wonder if he even did it at all. If it was even like photoshopped in.
I don't think he did it.
You think he actually put on a Klan hood?
I think he probably did, or he may have. He probably didn't go to the official KKK website and order the official version, I guess. But if that's even possible. But he probably just made one, I would say, and have a pillowcase or something to cut holes for the eyes and walked in.
If you would like to pull up the KKK, like their webpage or whatever, like you're automatically on the not the no-fly list, but like the extra
watch list.
Yeah, you're on the watch list.
Yeah. At
that point, like I did that. Like I was just curious. Obviously, I'm not interested in joining the Klan, but I was just curious, like what's their media presence like? And yeah, I did that, and I got flagged like in every time I went to the airport.
Really?
Yeah.
Did they let you know that's what it was?
No, but I put two and two together. And then like if you go to their website, it says like if you proceed past this point, like you're gonna be on the FBI watch list and stuff. So I mean they're pretty much tell you. I just thought it was interesting.
See, now I don't know if I agree with that or not, because there's some people like you that's just curious to see what's going on. So I mean, I would think maybe if they should take it into context, if there's just somebody that's curious and just clicks, and as long as you're not on there posting hateful stuff, if you just go on and look at it and then you never return, then that's probably the end of it, right? Instead of, we just put this guy on the watch list. Yeah,
but they are they're like an official terrorist organization.
Yeah.
So I mean, somebody's like, okay, like if you went on, had Al Qaeda ties or something,
right?
You definitely need an extra bag check when you go to the airport. Speaking of which, you can go to the airport now. I think.
But that's what I'm saying, though. Like, is there I guess in your situation, if that's actually what caused you to be put on the list, then there should be some discretion used, right? They should be like, well, obviously Thomas doesn't want to join the KKK.
But I could be the best undercover job ever.
The Black Klansman.
Like exactly.
I still haven't watched that.
I haven't either. I heard it looks good.
Yeah, we should watch it.
Based on a true story.
Yeah, there's a new Spike Jonze movie coming to Netflix.
What's up?
I can't remember the name of it. That's the thing. I need to prepare better. But there's a new Spike Jonze movie coming to.
Like, what's it about? Like, what's he? You just know it's a Spike Jonze movie.
Yeah. It said
his
whatever, directed by Spike Jonze.
His work speaks for itself.
Yeah.
Shoot, I forgot. Oh, like I said, that with the Klan thing, like that fell off. Cause I remember, like I went through the it was right before I joined the military, so I went through like background checks to get like clearance and stuff. And I got like secret clearance. So like after a year or two, like it fell off, and like I didn't get checked at all. Like I just showed my ID, and like, oh, you got clearance. You can just, go right through.
Have you tried to do it lately?
What?
Have you been pulled to the side lately, or
No, I've been pulled to the side.
Okay.
For a while.
Hmm. So you think you're off of it now?
Oh yeah. I'm almost sure. Like I said, I had to go through like the background check for security clearance. So I'm sure, that's the FBI database you have to go through.
Right.
So I'm sure that did it. Once I cleared that.
Okay.
Yeah.
You ever go to the Southern Poverty Law Center?
The website or like the actual?
The website, because they list all of the active hate groups in the United States and broken down by state, and it shows exactly where in the states the hate groups are.
Oh really?
Yeah, check that out later.
I bet there's some that like you wouldn't think.
There's some in Lexington and Louisville, and then I think they have like a statewide designation for one.
Like Hell's Angels, I think they're like a recognized terrorist group.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, like different biker gangs. That's what I'm saying. Like I bet if you went on there, and that's another iffy thing too. Like you're supposed to be free to affiliate with pretty much whoever you want to, but now you're getting this extra scrutiny from the government, kind of infringing.
Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe the reason there's so many different political ideologies, like libertarian, conservative, liberal, and any other subcategories, is just because maybe each of them have their own valid points.
Yeah.
So
I think. What do you think the chances of Biden's? What are his chances come November?
If it was any other normal situation, any other normal timeline, I would say maybe 5% or less.
Really?
Yes.
You think he almost has no shot?
I would think so.
Do you think this COVID situation, you think it helped or hurt Trump?
Again, any other normal timeline, I would say that should have hurt him, just because of some of the sound bites the media has been able to pull about the injecting Lysol and disinfectant and all these other wild things.
No, I didn't hear that. Did you like actually read it or actually?
No, I watched it, and
did it sound like he was joking?
He wasn't joking. He was absolutely serious.
He was dead serious.
No, well, I mean, he didn't look at the camera and say, "You need to inject Clorox." He didn't do that. I mean, he was talking off to the side, like the camera was here, and then he was kind of throwing ideas to I can't remember who it was. I don't know if it was Dr. Burks or who it was, but he was talking about UV therapy. He said, it was almost like he was thinking out loud. Is what it seemed like. He wasn't.
Which that's just more scary. I don't think he has much of a filter to begin with.
Yeah, but he wasn't. He didn't say to. He didn't instruct people to inject disinfectant or anything. I think he was just thinking out loud. Is what it seems like.
Okay, but he wasn't. By no means was he being sarcastic.
He wasn't being sarcastic. No.
It was a serious thought that entered his mind.
Yeah.
Enough to verbalize.
Yeah, I wish he hadn't have. What he should have said was, that I said this, and this is obviously something that we shouldn't do, or don't do it.
But I don't think he's ever apologized or backstepped or.
I don't think he has either.
I think that's like his whole stance is like, I can't be wrong. I don't make mistakes, and F you for the record.
Yeah.
Like that's one thing. Like he's supposed to be like the Christian candidate, and then they asked him, "There's like, hey, have you ever like repented of your sins or anything like that?" He's like, "No, of course not. I don't think I have, but I am a Christian." You know what I mean? Like that's like one of the tenets. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think as far as it, that's why I don't understand. I don't understand how Biden is the one that got the nomination. I think it would have been more fun to see Bernie versus Trump, like these
two personalities,
two personalities, two so different ideologies coming head to head across the nation, just like to sort things out. But I mean, like just such a safe, middle of the road style pick. Biden is just it's not interesting to me.
Yeah, and it feels like we're already saying we're in Kentucky and we're saying Bernie's out of it already. We haven't even had a chance to vote in the primary yet. It really feels like.
Well, I mean, it's you get who
who's left at this point.
Well, you get who. I don't like to just say they, but you get who they want you to have.
Yeah,
it's like.
Well, I don't think they wanted Trump.
Oh no, they didn't.
So,
but I mean, what was it? Was it in 2016? Whenever it come to find out that the DNC pretty much screwed Bernie, right?
Yeah, they're pretty much.
So that's what I'm saying. You're going to get who they want you to have.
So is that like an exclusive Democrat thing? Is that
I don't know. I
Illuminati?
I don't know.
We only think we have choices.
The illusion of choice.
Yeah.
I don't know because I was always a big Tulsi fan. I really enjoyed Tulsi.
I did too.
And Tulsi seems like she could pull the minority vote. She could pull the woman vote. She had solid ideas. She was charismatic. I just don't understand how she
got dismissed
so quickly.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I mean, what's your thought on that? Why do you think?
I don't know. I was thinking about the same thing. Like, because where they start? They started in New Hampshire. They pretty much started out east, Massachusetts, and then worked their way west. Is what it seems like with the primaries. And she's from Hawaii. I think it's just the old school. If I had to guess, I haven't spent much time with her, but I think it's just the old school way of thinking there. You know what I mean? Like they're very traditional, even though they're quote unquote liberal.
Do you think maybe that just because, like I said, like kind of what you said, that they just wanted to maybe run a white male candidate like Biden who's recognizable, and he's like almost like the safe pick?
Yeah, and
do you think that's what it is? Where they're like this, just based on our models, our modeling, and our numbers, that we think that maybe Biden is the most electable? Do you think because of maybe the name recognition, to where the people who don't really follow politics maybe looked at and it's like, I think I remember seeing that guy with President Obama. Okay, I remember him.
I think it's that, but also I think more so if you look at who Bernie appeals to, who Tulsi appealed to, they're appealing to younger demographics. They're appealing to minorities. They got I don't know, 30 and under people excited to vote for them. And I don't think that's who comes out and votes in primaries in Massachusetts and Delaware and all those early primary places. I think that's an older base they have there.
Okay.
So they just didn't have any exposure to them. And I think it's just an archaic system. Like there's no way we should still be voting the way we're doing it for primaries now. Like I saw a system I liked a lot. I want to say it comes from like Sweden or somewhere like that, where it's like, okay, we got 5 candidates, all right. So say like you really like Tulsi Gabbard, but you don't think she's that electable. So in our system, we might not vote for her because we want our vote to count. So we'll vote for either Sanders or Biden, right? Well, in their system, they'll put a 1 by Tulsi Gabbard, they'll put a 2 by Sanders, put a 3 by Yang, they'll put a 4 by Biden, and then so on and so on. So say, all right,
like order of preference?
Order of preference, exactly.
Okay.
So then we do the first round of voting. All right, who got all the number 1 votes? So they count all the number 1 votes. And if it's somebody like they didn't expect, like Gabbard, it's like, okay, she didn't have enough votes to win. So let's go and count all the number 2 votes. And basically it eliminates the conflict of, I'm only voting for this person because they're electable. I'm actually voting for who I think should win.
Well, that's what the whole basis of our election should be, though.
Right. It sounds good. You like to think we're voting for the president, but I don't think that's happening at all anymore. And it's crazy that in 2020, we're still doing it the way we did it 200 years ago.
And I think another holdover from that is the Electoral College.
Yeah, that seems totally ridiculous to me. And it's funny. It's funny, like like that's such a polarizing issue depending on where you are. Like I've taught like all over the state. And I know in Frankfurt, when I was like, I was teaching the history class, and I was like, hey, I'm I don't agree with this electoral college. And I mean, you must have thought I was talking about their mom or something, because it's like I thought. I
Really?
didn't think I was gonna
They
get
took
out
offense to it?
Yeah, they almost took offense to it. It's like, oh no, it's crazy. Like,
Okay.
we can't, if we got away with the electoral college, only New York and California would decide, who becomes president. There was the argument. I was like, how about just the majority of people? Because you show a map, and it's like, okay, only these two places would decide the election, and you see this blue outside with this red center. But how many people, how much just empty space is in that red center? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's
a lot of farmland.
A lot of farmland of no people.
Uh-huh.
I think one person, one vote seems the most fair thing to me. For we're talking about president. Shouldn't the majority of people have who they want?
Do you think that maybe at the same time that whenever the electoral college was implemented, that maybe, and whenever they designed it, it was because maybe just a lack of information available to voters, and they were like, well, we need to, because the people in the more urban areas are going to have more access to information, and maybe people in the more rural areas, they may not be able to make as informed of a decision.
No,
you think that?
No, not at all. Because you got to remember back then everything was rural. The majority of people, the vast majority of people lived in rural areas until the Industrial Revolution. So,
okay,
I think the reason they did that is, they just fought a Revolutionary War. They did not want people that without America's best interest at heart electing some crazy person, some person buying the votes, or somebody with English ties or whatever. So
right.
They wanted the ability to change who the popular person was. It's like, okay, I can still vote in favor of who I think has the party's interest at heart or the nation's interest at heart. So I don't even know, like at the beginning, was it the right thing to do in 1776? Maybe, but definitely not in 2020. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
What do you think about voter ID laws?
I think it's a non-issue.
Really?
Yeah, I think people make a big deal out of it. Like,
Hold on. Let me ask you this though. Whenever you go to vote, like here in our area, whenever I go to vote, I have to show ID.
Right.
Right. So I mean, I guess what I'm asking is, in some of these precincts, can you just go in and say, I'm here to vote, give me a ballot, and then like go to the next precinct, be like, I'm here to vote, give me a ballot? Is that what's happening, or what's
I don't know what the complaint is. Like, so I think the conservative side of that is illegals are coming in and voting. People not registered are coming in and voting, and people are still in elections.
But that's the thing. But that's what I mean. Like, are they on the ballot to vote? Or on the roll to? If they're able to cast their vote, then what does it matter?
Yeah, if you're not on the roll, like if I come in and they're
like, what's your name? And they're like, my name is Thomas, and I live here. And they're like, well, you're not on the roll, so sorry, you can't vote.
Right,
I mean, that's what probably happened with the undocumented or illegal alien, right?
Yeah. But
So
I mean, if I'm on the roll and I don't have my ID and I know all my information, let me vote. You got I think they have the last 4 of your social, or it might be your whole social right there, like when you go to vote. So
yeah, but that's what I'm saying though. Like, and up here that says if you're on the roll, then you have to show a credit, like at least a credit card with your name on it or something. I think it is. Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. I don't understand.
Like what the issue is.
Yeah, what the issue is.
Yeah.
I've never understood it. Maybe somebody can explain it to me.
I think they're thinking in like Illinois, Chicago, they always say dead people voting and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but even still, like if you got some dead guy's ID, you still just go in and vote.
We can just do some weekend at Bernie's style shenanigans and bring him in
some cables.
with a hat and a pair of sunglasses.
He's just shy.
Yeah. He's not feeling good. He'll like to cast his vote though.
Or yeah, my Grady's in the car. Let me here's her ID. But yeah, I really think it's a non-issue. I think it's something that just something to draw headlines, something to argue about. But I don't think it's as widespread. Because even the president, they asked the president, it's like, how come we don't vote online? And he's like, voter fraud will be rampant. And he was like, do you think voter fraud is a big deal? It's like, oh, absolutely not. So it's like he's talking out of both sides.
What was it I thought? See, that's the thing. You got to be careful too about like just like if you go on Reddit, for instance, like the politics subreddit. It's very left leaning.
Mhm.
But one of the things they had was an article they linked to that where they asked Trump about mail-in ballots, and I think he's like, "Oh no, mail-in ballots absolutely should not happen." I think, and then come to find out he'd done a mail-in ballot himself.
Yeah, which I mean, that's if you're like in the military, like that's the only way you can vote.
Yeah,
is mail-in ballots. So I don't think we should be discounting their vote by any means.
well, I don't think so either.
Yeah, that's funny though. Like, yeah, there's a lot of hypocrisy. Like, I think he just says stuff, and I've never seen anybody say something and 2 minutes later be like, "I didn't say that," and just stand his ground so firm. You know what I mean? Like, but we have this video and this transcript. It's like, you're an idiot if you believe that. It's fake news. It's fake news what I said 30 seconds ago.
You know what I mean? You know what I'm afraid of though, and I think this touches on a broader point than just just like, oh, can you believe what Trump said, or can you believe what Trump did? I think at this point we need, and this is coming from a completely centrist point of view. I think at this point, like we need to. This is my hot take for the day, and it's a dangerous take. I really think at this point we need to come together politically, because it's so divided right now.
Yeah.
What
does that look like?
But I don't know. I don't even know if it's possible at this point. Yeah. Because I was thinking about when President Obama was in office. I just remember it happened on both sides. Like the MSNBC, of course, it was just glowing coverage, right? And the way and at the same time, Fox News, of course, was hated the fact that Obama was in office. But
I remember the first election, because I was going back and forth too. Like I was really interested in seeing, okay, how's NBC, how's Fox covering this? And it seemed like the first one, of course, MSNBC was on Obama's side, but it seems like the first election, Fox News kind of respected the moment. You know what I mean? It wasn't, oh my gosh, this guy's in office. It's okay. Their big thing was we're in a post-racial America now. Like that's the narrative they were trying to sell. Mm-hmm. But definitely, yeah, you saw the change come to the second election. You definitely saw them being way more divisive.
Well, see, that's what I'm thinking. Do you think that it was necessarily due to a changing ideology in the reporters, or do you think that they used analytics and they used some kind of marketing research to say, hey, we're getting more clicks, we're getting more viewers whenever we hammer the president, so let's continue doing this because we're speaking into an echo chamber, and people are enjoying hearing us slam the president, this demographic of people, so let's continue doing this. Do you think that's what happened, or do you think it's?
I think it goes back to, I don't think Rush Limbaugh gets enough credit and our blame for where we are right now.
Rush has been around forever, though.
I mean, as long as I can remember, early '90s.
You remember that episode of Beavis and Butthead where they had it wasn't Rush, it was another guy that's like a Rush character, but it was Rush Limbaugh, but it wasn't Rush.
Right.
And Beavis and Butthead's like, this guy rules. Yeah, just because he was such a blowhard.
Oh, that sounds vaguely familiar, but I've been drinking this Coca-Cola for a while. But yeah, I think a lot of that comes from him. He kind of created this climate of ultra conservatism, and everything the left does is wrong. I think the left kind of played itself into their hands by some of the idiotic stances they take nowadays. What is it? Equality of outcome. Like everybody should have the same outcome. Everybody should make the same. That's a pretty wild stance to take, and I don't think that has any merit anywhere. But I think they saw, like Fox News saw the popularity of Rush. They saw a market that wasn't being met, and it just kind of fed upon itself until. But don't get it mistaken. Like I don't think we've ever been as close as we think we were at any point in time.
Yeah, I think that's probably accurate. Yeah, I think that's probably a very accurate statement.
Yeah, and I'll have to say, like I'm pretty liberal, but I do think that conservatism always doesn't get a fair shake in the media, and it's been like that at least since the 80s. Is it deserved? Is another question.
Mhm.
You know, is the media calling them on things they need to be called on, or do they just only hire left leaning people, and that's what gets reflected in their coverage?
I think that people need to be held accountable. Obviously, whenever they say something blatantly racist, like we were talking about Papa John the other day.
Yeah.
You know that.
What do you think about that?
I mean, obviously, if you're a white guy, you don't need to be dropping n bombs,
Right.
no matter the context or if you know you're being recorded. But
And
I
being
mean,
CEO and yeah.
I mean the context of how he was
Context is
doing it.
everything.
Yeah.
But
I mean-
he wasn't calling anybody the N word, and you know, and I might just be misremembering it, and I kind of only sideways glanced it, but it sounded like he was saying, you know, you can't. He was actually telling people like you can't be going on there and saying nigger this or nigger that or whatever. I think that's what he was saying. He's like, don't say this, and then it got recorded as, oh, he said the N word.
Yeah,
and they took his whole company from him. You know what I mean?
And you know, and I just wonder. It's just, I guess it just depends on what the powers that be in the media want to attack and how they want to portray it. I guess because you know, in Pulp Fiction, there was that scene where
Yeah.
I mean, Quentin Tarantino's just dropping n bombs like a like it's the thing.
Showtime at the Apollo.
Yeah, like it's the thing to do. So.
Yeah.
I mean, well, no, it's different because he's playing a character, and that's different. But I mean, is it?
I don't know. I kind of have a different opinion on that. Like that character. If you remember that character, his wife was black. Does that make a difference? You know, is he allowed to say the N word because he has a black wife, or you know, if she heard him saying that, is she gonna come home and smack him?
How would you feel about it?
At the time, I mean, it was Quentin Tarantino. And,
no, I'm saying like if, like, say you had a white wife and you just heard her on the phone like to somebody, and then she just dropped an N bomb, like, and you were just in there like washing dishes or playing Xbox or something, and then you just heard her do it. Yeah.
Oh, man, that's rough. That's rough because I can't come on here and say I smack a white woman. I don't think I can get away with it. I guess, like, again, context is everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would know who I married. You know, I can't call her racist. Probably got some mixed kids running around. Is she calling them N word? And like, what context? If they in there acting the fool, y'all let N word, sit down. Maybe we need that. Black kids with a white mama. Maybe she needs to be able to say the N word. I don't know. I don't read. I don't know. I'm not educated.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
What do you think? What about you?
I don't think it'd be acceptable.
In any turn?
No, I don't. Because of the history and the how deep it can cut.
Yeah.
Just that, you know, that's no.
Yeah. What about all right, white mom, black kids? She comes in there and sits your black asses down.
I think it probably. Well, I'm not going to say that it would be okay, but I think that I don't know why. I mean, it would be coming from a parenting standpoint.
Go ahead, man. It's okay. No, go ahead.
No, I don't know. I think it would. I don't know. I think that. Okay, so imagine if it's a white couple and. I don't know at that point. I mean, because she's yeah, that's true.
What's that?
She's like, it's not that you don't have a Mexican wife. So I don't know. I think that I really don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, we got to acknowledge that the N word has a special history. Like there is no other derogatory term like the N word.
Well, I mean, that comes from one of the reasons that it's so destructive, I guess, is because it's coming from a time when black people were subjugated to being property. Right.
I mean, the worst treatment a human being has ever had. I don't think it compares to slavery in America. I mean, you can talk about Jews in Israel. You can talk about Kosovo, you know, Bosnian genocides, Jews in Nazi Germany. Which, like, okay, maybe. But even still, like that was based on their belief system and religion, and not necessarily. Well, I guess you can argue it was based on who they were as a people, but it was such a short time. It was 6 years. It was a lot of deaths, but it was 6 years. Slavery in America happened in 200 years. Depending on how you want to count it, 1600s to 1975. The last civil rights. I don't know. I don't know when you can say that ended. But yeah, it's definitely, there's no comparison with any other race of people in the world. So yeah, and I saw a great meme the other day. It was a white lady, and she was saying that I found the name Karen offensive. Like
Karen.
Karen, saying the Karen is the same thing as saying the N-word. And I know that's not true because the meme said Karen and it didn't say the K word. You know what I mean? Like it said the word Karen.
That's who said that? Was it Cuomo's not Cuomo's brother, or what's the guy that's on CNN where they were calling him Frito?
Oh yeah.
And then he was like, that's just as bad as he's like that's just as bad as saying an N-word. And then one of the people replying is like, obviously it's not because you won't say that word.
Yeah, that's definitely a great point. How do we get on that subject? What were we talking about? Like, what happened to Bevan's black kids? I have not heard. You hear from Bevan? I ain't seen his black kids since he was running.
Oh, I don't know.
And did you hear the latest? And I should say this is not confirmed, but the latest story is he got his secretary pregnant, and they're going to have a kid here soon.
I think I saw some kind of statement about that. I put out a statement saying it's not true. But then some random person tweeted it or something.
Oh, really?
I think that's what it was. Yeah.
So right now, he's denying it still at this point.
Yeah, I think he's completely denying it, and I think it was just a completely anonymous person just put that out there.
So,
well, that's the last that I heard.
Okay. So yeah, I guess it could be completely made up, and I don't want to, make light of anybody's misfortune or mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes, but just not as interesting. I haven't seen Bevan's black kids in a while. But, neither here nor there. I haven't seen Bevan personally in a while either.
That's what I'm saying. I haven't seen Bevan or anybody.
But he still makes comments. You see him on Twitter or Facebook or whatever.
Yeah.
Like saying, I can't believe what this guy's doing.
The last of the thing that I remember was that there was the big uproar when they released those people, and I think one of the child predators, I think it's a child predator, they struck again. I think that's what it was.
I don't think I heard that one. What do you think happened? What happened?
This is one I got to look up before I speak out of turn.
What do you think happened?
You remember he released a bunch of people, and they're like, "What do you do that for?" You remember, like releasing murderers and child predators and things
because of the COVID-19. Whatever.
No, just he pardoned them on his last day.
Oh, Bevan did. Yeah, I do remember that. Yes. Yeah.
Well, and one of them reoffended, I think.
Ooh, no, I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
Because one of the child predators was like connected or something, right? It was like his dad was a big donor or something.
I think that was the murder, the guy that was convicted of murder. I think, and he pardoned him. I don't know. I think that's what the news said.
What do you think about Vince McMahon getting WWF an essential service in Florida? Because it was like he did it like on when they were shutting him down, and then he made a big contribution to somebody's campaign the next day during essential service.
Well, I think first of all, I think WWE is trash right now. AEW is by far the superior product.
Who's in
by
that?
far.
Who's in AEW?
Anybody
would have heard of?
Chris Jericho.
Okay.
Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks. Matt Hardy, as broken Matt Hardy. Who else is there? Lance, this big dude he was in Japan previously. The guy that used to be Ty Dillinger, he's there now. Jake the Snake's there.
He's doing what?
He's a valet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's a valet.
He's not wrestling.
No, he's cutting promos and he's a valet.
He's like somebody's manager.
He's a valet for Lance Archer. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still cool. He's still working.
Oh, it's amazing.
How's he look?
He looks good. Did you ever see the documentary, the where he almost died.
Resurrection.
Yeah.
Resurrection
Did you watch it?
Yeah, oh, yeah, I cried.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he looks good.
And I saw he was on. I think it was in Joe Rogan not too long ago.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, he did his podcast, and he looked good on there. You know, he looked clean and sober. And he was able to talk about his past and stuff,
Yeah.
like the way you haven't seen him. Like
Eric and I met him
did you really? Where'd you meet him?
at the convention down in Knoxville.
Sign autographs, or was you just hanging out? Or
Yeah, I got my picture made with him.
how much it cost?
I think it's like $20 for the autograph and the picture, maybe.
Anyway, you paid him?
Yes.
Guy?
No, whenever you go to get the autographs, you pay at the table, and like there's a guy collecting money. But I ended up buying a T-shirt. It was just like a tan T-shirt, and it said Jake the Snake, and I had a picture of him holding up a snake on it. I was like, oh, this is awesome! I can't wait to wear it. And he's like, here, I'll sign it for you. And he grabbed it and signed. I was like, oh man, I didn't want you to do that.
But you couldn't tell him don't.
No, I didn't say it, but it was very nice and very approachable, very cool. This was after the DDP yoga. He was already mended, and yeah, he's very cool. That's one of the things I really enjoy doing is going to the conventions and meeting wrestlers. I met Kurt Angle at Days of the Dead, and and that's the thing, I've never met one that's been here. Yeah, they're just like, here's something, get a hurt. They'll talk and shake hands, and I just love wrestling. Wrestling is probably the one thing that I will always enjoy.
Really?
I have a special place for it. Yeah, I could talk forever about wrestling. Erica. Well, anyway, I make her go, and she meets them too, and she won't watch it, but she enjoys meeting the wrestlers. And
did you ever live? Did you take her to the live stuff?
Oh yeah.
Did she get into that?
She enjoys like the fireworks and the music, and whenever they cut promos, she enjoys that. She actually hear them talk and stuff.
You were talking about AEW.
Yeah.
Better than
I shouldn't have said. I go back. WWE is not trash, but that's just right now. AEW is a superior product. Now I say that carefully because AEW is better than Raw, but NXT is good. NXT, you know what that is?
And isn't like a Triple H running that? Like he pretty much running.
Triple H. It's like the developmental league kind of for the main brand, and it's actually a really good show. It's really good, but right now the Raw is just, and I guess it kind of hurts too because they're not in front of a live audience.
Yeah, so how are they doing that right now? Is it just pretty much in the studio?
Well, AEW, the Raw, for some reason they're doing it just with the two wrestlers in the ring and the ref, and it's
so like what's on the outside of it?
Just they're doing it at the performance center, their training grounds.
Mm-hmm.
So there's nobody in the audience, so it's kind of weird.
So is there like pyrotechnics and stuff when they come out? Or?
There is an AEW, and I'm trying to think.
Do they play the music?
Oh yeah, they do it just like normal, and they have announcers and everything. But it's weird. Like the other day, I was watching Andrade Cien Almas came out with Selena Vega. That's his manager, his valet, and she came out and she was cutting a promo, and it was weird. You could tell like the promo was written for television to where.
Like she was waiting for.
Yeah, she was exactly. She was like, yeah, it was weird. You could tell like they're supposed to. There's almost like a pause for crowd reaction, and it's like it's kind of weird.
It's like I bet there's a lot of things. I bet like if you watch an adult video with no soundtrack, but not that anybody should be watching adult videos. I could come out in front of me and say that. But if you were someone that did watch those and you watched one with no soundtrack, it would sound ridiculous. It would look ridiculous. Like
Yeah.
It feel like voyeurism at that point.
Yeah, I guess it would.
This is so filthy. Oh.
But then I want to steer it back to wrestling. This Sunday is Money in the Bank. It's the WWE's annual pay-per-view, the Money in the Bank, where they have the ladder match where there's a briefcase suspended above the ring, and whoever climbs it grabs it and grab a hold of the box or the briefcase. And
is it money or is it like automatic title shot?
It's automatic title shot. They just call it Money in the Bank.
Okay.
But they're having it on top of the WWE headquarters, so it's gonna be like 30 stories. Yeah, they're gonna have a ring set up on the roof.
What could possibly
And
go wrong?
yeah, apparently I was reading the spoilers, and they said that somebody's supposed to get thrown off the building. I don't know what's supposed to happen with that, but they're like somebody's gonna get thrown off this building, and I may actually re-up my subscription just to watch it.
So how does it work now? You can have a WWF subscription and
Yeah, WWE Network. I think it's
you
like
get all the pay-per-views.
$9.99 a month. Yeah, and you can. It's pretty good value.
$10 a month, and you get like WrestleMania and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean like the pay-per-views back whenever I was watching it before.
It's like $50, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's like $50 to $60. Yeah, so you'd have to get with 5 or 6 friends and make a party out of it and chip in.
Yeah.
But now it's just $9.99, and you can stream the events as they happen.
But it's nowhere near the product it was in 2000 either. Like I was happily shelling out that.
Oh yeah, do you remember back in like in the Attitude Era? Just I was watching. Oh, and that's the thing, they have all the previous episodes, so you can watch like Raw from 1998 or 99, and it's like whenever it opens, like the pyrotechnics, and then everybody holding up signs, and people just going absolutely bananas because the product was so funny and cool and outrageous.
Dude, I remember the scariest I ever been as a black person was that I came to Lexington, Kentucky, when
From Louisville.
From Louisville, when I lived in Louisville, and this was when like The Rock and Triple H were having their big rivalry.
Yeah.
And The Rock comes out, and he's like, "It's so good to be back in Lexington, Kentucky, where you have the biggest pieces of trailer park white trash." And like did he just say white trash? And I was like the only black person. Me and my sister was like the only black people in the whole section. I was like, oh my God, we're not gonna make it out alive. And this lady next to it, she's like, F you. And she's like, I'm sorry. I don't know why she felt the need to apologize to us. Like I knew The Rock.
Yeah.
It was like, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, plus the fans used to be different. Like it's weird to see the progression. Back whenever I went back to school, and plus you follow like the Squared Circle subreddit and just all these different groups, and there's a different clientele watching now. It's what they talked about. You remember when the WCW and WWE were head-to-head, Nitro and Raw? Yeah. Back in the day, it was it's still real to me, damn it, crowd, you know. Yeah. It was, and I don't want to say redneck dudes, but redneck dudes, you know, like they're like, hell yeah, let's watch Stone Cold go here and open a can of whoop ass, and like they were watching it for that enjoyment, and now it's turned to more like a
family Disney.
Yeah, like a family Disney thing, but at the same time, like intellectual dudes watching it. Like one of my math professors, he's like a PhD in theoretical mathematics or whatever, and me and him talked about wrestling, and he was a huge fan of it, but because it's almost like nerds watch it now. I don't want to say nerds, but it's like, you know what I mean? It's like nerds watch it now.
and I can appreciate
just because they understand like the inner workings of the inner workings of the business, about, you know, like what's a work and what's a shoot and what's not a
K-Fab and all that.
Yeah, and it's cool to watch it on different levels.
Yeah, I did not understand. Like I knew everybody knew, okay, I want to live.
Where, buddy?
I want to live. They have this huge German Shepherd.
Come here. Hey, buddy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I love all animals. I'm not going to move right now.
It'll be all right.
Yeah, that's how you say. It'll be fine. What you mean to say is I'll be fine.
But the thing about wrestling right now, for the WWE and Raw in particular, it seems like everything is so like pre-packaged. And I know you got to follow the script, but it's just like you know what's going to happen before it happens. You know, it's like, okay, it's like beat by beat. And with AEW, it's like there's still like, you want to see what happens. Like there's a reason to tune in. Like, I want to see what happens here. And at WWE, it's like, it's the same crap every week. Yeah. You know, it's just like cookie cutter style. Like, it's like.
Well, I know the women like it taking over for a while. Like the women were way more interesting.
They were.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were.
Like I stopped watching for a long time, and then I switched back when like Oscar, I think that's how you say her name.
Yeah.
She started grabbing my attention, and then like
Oscar's awesome.
Immediately she went on a losing streak. Like as soon as she went in, to the double. Like I thought that was such a failed opportunity.
It is. It was. But she's getting a big push now.
Yeah, but like why build this person up coming into the business and then like not develop her at all?
We need to get there and watch wrestling.
What the hell with this horse, man? Call him. I want everybody to see this terrifying animal that you call a pet. Call him.
He's over there doing something.
Okay.
So whenever wrestling comes back, would you go watch it with me? Like a live event?
Oh, well, if it was because they sell the tickets real cheap. They're like $20.
I took Erica's brother.
Yeah.
And we got decent seats. I don't know if I sent you the picture. I got the picture right here.
It'll be good, man. I'm saying yes to everything. Like after being stuck in the house.
Oh well, I guess I should
like
qualify that with whenever it actually happens.
Yeah.
If it happens.
Whatever you want to do. You want to go skydiving, bungee cord jumping? I'm in. I'm all in.
Would you go bungee? Would you go
Oh,
skydive?
heck yeah. Right now, absolutely you're stuck in the house.
Erica.
You guys did that. You jumped out of a perfectly good airplane, didn't you?
Yeah, we jumped out. Yeah, well, once.
Just once?
Yeah, look, we had these seats. And those seats are like $15.
Oh, nice. Yeah, they're pretty much not floor seats, but like right above.
Yeah, there's lower arena. Yeah,
Right above floor. Yeah, that's good. Where was that at?
Rep arena.
Rep Arena. You been to the Yum Center?
Oh, I did actually go to SmackDown at the Yum Center.
Did you go in like the lower level where they got the bar?
I think it was about the same level as that, maybe a little bit better.
Yeah, then you should be able to get in. Like once you get into like the low, I don't know how they do it, but there's like a bar, and it's underneath the seats. It's almost like hidden. And I don't know. So I thought that was real cool. It was a big step up.
Did I tell you about the time I got injured at the Yum Center?
No.
Eric and I went to watch Madonna in concert.
Oh yeah, you talking about that sucked, right?
Oh, it's horrible. It was horrible.
She was drunk.
Yeah, she was.
Allegedly.
I think it was 3 hours. She was late, like 3 hours. I swear, I think it was 3 hours. She was late.
What time did it start? Like the whole event.
It's supposed to be like 7:30, I think. But she was extraordinarily late.
Mm-hmm.
And then whenever she finally came out, she didn't play any. She played like 3 hits. I think she played Like a Virgin and a couple other well-known songs. And the rest was just stuff off some new album that she had out. And it was just, everybody's like, what is this?
What about, if you had to guess what time? So it started at 7.
I think it started around 10.
She went on about 10? That's kind
I
of
think.
horrible. It started at 7 and she went on at 10.
I think that's how it worked, yeah. But either way, when we were sitting, like there was a drop ceiling above us.
Mm-hmm.
And we were in the back row right below it. And because of the bass from the music, one of the ceiling tiles went boom and just hit me on the head.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it did.
Did you like let anybody know? Like I just got hit in the head with the ceiling tile?
No.
I mean, I'm not saying file a lawsuit, but it might have been a good.
Probably should have, shouldn't I?
Yeah, I don't think I would let that. I would have found an injury report or something.
I just took it and set it up against the. Erica, Thomas said that he wants to go skydive. All right.
I'm all in.
I don't think he'll do it. Will you do it?
Have you met my family? Yeah.
Will you?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, yeah. Bring it on. Whatever. I'm kidding. I love everybody.
Would you do the tandem jump like I did? I don't think I could bring myself to throw myself out of the plane.
I probably wouldn't need to be pushed, but I could do it.
You would do it by yourself? I think I would do the tandem the first time.
But yeah, my only issue would be because it's like a 3-day class or something. If you want to jump by yourself,
I think they did it within like 40 minutes. I think you do it the same day.
Well, if you jump with somebody else.
No, I think pretty sure that you just walk in, and if you want to do it by yourself, they'd give you like a 45-minute class.
America.
Yeah.
You gotta love it.
Yeah, but it's the same day. It's like 3 hours.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm all in.
Okay.
I'm all in. Whatever you want to do.
Speaking of WWE related activity, what do you think about the XFL failing for the second time?
I wouldn't. Did they fail? I thought they.
Oh yeah, they're bankrupt. It's done.
Was because of this?
It's because they didn't fail because of lack of viewership. It's because of the coronavirus.
And I'm hoping they get a chance. Like they get a third. Because I don't think that's fair. Because I really feel like if they could have did something this summer, there would have been a market for that now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because the first time they failed because they just threw the teams together at the last minute. They had quarterbacks being thrown in like 2 years. or 2 seasons or whatever, and then they're just not ready. They're just not game day ready.
See, I think what they should have done, exactly what you just kind of said. I think they should have waited until June, and made it like a summer league.
Yeah,
because that's what people crave in the summer. Like, I like to watch football.
Yeah.
Because at that point, the Super Bowl's over, and then I guess the Pro Bowl happens, right? Pro Bowl's after Super Bowl.
No, Pro Bowl and then the Super Bowl.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Well, either way, the Super Bowl happens, and then you have months
from like March to August. There's no football.
Yeah.
And I think the big missed opportunity is they go in pro cities like the NBA, like those developmental leagues. They're missing the big opportunity. They should go for cities that want NBA teams but don't have them, like Louisville.
Oh, Louisville been great.
Yeah.
Or Cincinnati. They have the Bengals in Cincinnati, but Louisville or
what's it in Arkansas? Little Rock. Little Rock's been one of the NFL teams.
Memphis would be a good NFL or a good XFL city.
Yeah. Mexico City. Mexico City's been going crazy. They've been one of the NFL teams. Like that.
That just reminded me. I was watching Little Monsters yesterday, the zombie movie.
Yeah.
What's the girl's name?
The one where they go under the beds and there's like a whole other world.
No, that's the one where what's her name? The black chick from Black Panther? Lupita?
Lapongo or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know that she's from Mexico City?
What? She's Mexican?
She's born in Mexico City.
What was they doing?
I don't know. I looked her up after watching Little Monsters.
That does sound familiar.
Yeah, she's born in Mexico City.
I forgot, how they came up.
I should be playing sound effects back here.
But Little Monsters is cool. You got
Hulu?
Hulu?
Little Monsters.
It's do you have Hulu?
Yeah.
It's on Hulu.
Well, which one is that? What's it about?
It's stars her and this.
It's the older one, like from the 80s, right?
No, it's from the 2019.
Okay.
It's
Is it a remake?
Oh no, it's original story. It's about her. She's a kindergarten teacher, and she plays the ukulele, and she the story centers around her primarily because she's a kindergarten teacher, but also the other character is this other guy that has a nephew. I think he has this nephew that he's taking care of, and he likes her, so he somehow interjects himself into going on this field trip, and they're going to this field trip, this big petting zoo. It's like a amusement park with a petting zoo, and while they're there, next door is an army base. There's an army base next door, and they're doing experiments on zombies, and a zombie outbreak happens. So it's her trying to keep the kids safe during the zombie outbreak. That's great.
Did she
It's
lose
hilarious.
kids? Would I give too much of the movie away? Did she lose any kids get lost?
Well, there's not any violence with the kids or anything like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But it's good though. Check it out.
I could have sworn Little Monsters was remember the movie with
I think there's a Fred Savage movie.
Yeah, and they go into the bed. It's like a whole underworld.
That is right.
Yeah.
You remember The Wizard with Fred Savage, where it was like they had this.
It's like a video game.
Yeah, it was like it was a video game.
Yeah.
And they had the kid with the power glove that he was like this little rich brat, and he's like, the power glove, so rad, little shithead.
Yeah, that did not work at all. It was not one of these.
I think that the what do you think is the prime decade for movies that just for strict enjoyment? I'm not talking about like Fellini or Kubrick or like where it's like, oh, that's the artistic value of this movie. Yeah, it's true film. It's not like film, like just like strictly enjoying, like where I enjoyed the hell out of that decade.
I gotta say right now, just because
Really?
like what the Avengers are doing right now and Marvel, like that's unprecedented. Like, yeah, like I've been waiting like superhero movies. What was the first one? Batman, the first good one
From the Tim Burton?
Jack Nicholson,
Yeah, the Tim Burton.
And there was a drought after that. Like I don't think anything's touching this decade. Like how much did you enjoy Endgame? You know what I mean? Like
I was brought the tears during your game just because of the emotion.
Yeah, he had so
amazing.
much invested in that by that point.
Did you ever watch the videos online of the people recording the crowd reactions?
Yeah.
It was amazing. People just got so invested in that.
Like clapping and stuff. When they
Yeah,
came back and
clapping,
crying.
like and just like getting choked up. They're like, oh, it's happening! Look. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think anything comes close to like what's going on.
Ah.
10 through 20.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I enjoyed I think each decade has its own standouts. But as the one that I enjoy most,
80s.
maybe late 80s, early 90s. Probably late. I guess it just depends on how old you are and stuff.
Yeah.
I think probably late 80s, early 90s is probably the sweet spot for me.
With what? Like what movies?
Like Wayne's World, Monster Squad, Top Gun, which I think was 86.
What was Monster Squad? I don't remember that one.
Oh, you don't remember that one? It was the one where Dracula, he got all these monsters. It was like Dracula, the Wolfman, the creature from the Black Lagoon.
Was Frankenstein in it?
Yeah, it had Frankenstein in it, yeah. And then it had these kids who got together. They were like these kids who thought the horror movies were cool. So they had their little clubhouse and they called it the Monster Squad.
So it was
So
a movie, wasn't a cartoon?
that was a movie. You never seen it? You remember
It
like
sounds familiar because I remember like the Reese's Cup commercials and like they would have those monsters on it with like Frankenstein and Dracula and stuff. But
do you remember the scene where they were arguing about whether or not the Wolfman had testicles? And then he's like, Wolfman has nards after he kicks him in the balls and he bends over in pain.
I think it was a fever dream. I don't think that's a real movie.
Oh no, I've got it downstairs on Blu-ray.
I remember.
Oh, if you've never seen it, man, we got to watch it.
What was the one with the chorus?
Lost Boys.
The Lost Boys, yeah. And he was like, "Oh, I thought she was a virgin. Like you just kissed him. It didn't count." And she was
No, Thomas, that was Monster Squad.
Was that Monster Squad? No.
Yeah, you
Was that
remember
Monster
she was
Squad?
like reading that thing, and then like they expected the sky to open and everything at the end. That was Monster Squad.
And then they got like the 5-year-old girl to do the ritual.
Yeah,
or whatever.
that was Monster Squad. Yeah, you're getting them twisted.
Okay, I think I only saw the end of that movie.
Okay, that's Monster Squad.
Okay.
Yeah, and Lost Boys is the one where it was Corey Feldman and the other
Corey
guy,
Haim.
and Corey Haim, and then the dude, the Native American. I can't remember what his name was. They were called the Frog Brothers. And Kiefer Sutherland was like, they thought he was the head vampire, but come to find out it was
Like with the gym
Max.
teacher or something like it. It was dating his mom.
That was like a video store owner, like a VHS store owner,
Okay.
movie store. Yeah. Oh, that was so good. And then, you know what? They made a second one called Lost Boys, The Tribe. I never watched that one.
Was it like a long time? Same people in it?
It didn't have Corey Haim, but it had Corey Feldman and the other Frog brother. I never watched it.
There's a lot of like unofficial sequels. You remember? You've seen Goodfellas, right?
Oh, yeah.
You know that My Blue Heaven is a sequel to Goodfellas
With Steve Martin?
with Steve Martin. Yeah, like it's like Goodfellas is him telling the story of like being in the mob, and then it's the same guy.
Ray Liotta?
Ray Liotta, and then
Really?
My Blue Heaven is him telling the story of witness protection.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, the same guy.
I saw My Blue Heaven. I've seen Goodfellas a number of times, but I've only watched My Blue Heaven. I think I watched it once. I have to go back and rewatch that.
And what happens is, like they pitch a movie, and different studios will get a hold of like different aspects of the movie, and that's why you'll see like 2 Robin Hoods coming out at the same time.
Well, at the same time, My Blue Heaven, it was pitched as a comedy, right?
Yeah, it was definitely a comedy. But it's like they took the same concept and 2 studios did 2 different things with the same story.
Imagine Goodfellas as a comedy.
It is a comedy, Scott. It's hilarious. I laugh 100 times.
Imagine at the scene like where they pop into the trunk and just start stabbing, what's his name, in the trunk. Imagine if there's a laugh track to that. That'd be great.
Yeah, that's about the most quoted, memorized movie. Ready to get out of here? I'm drunk. You got anything else?
Oh, now that we're talking about movies, I can talk forever. What else? Let me think. What other movies?
Oh, before I forget about that raffle, email Mary, MERY, Lucio, LUCIO, at gmail.com. And for information on that, or you can look up Mi Pueblo of Richmond and call them and get raffle tickets. Like I said, $25, good cause. And we'll get you registered to win that Pontiac. We're doing that May 25th.
And also, you can call Mi Pueblo and order some tacos. They have amazing tacos.
Oh, yeah. And they wash their hands. You can't get that everywhere. That's good quality.
Well, that's a plus.
How's that?
That's a plus.
That is a
Glad to know
plus.
that.
And I'm not saying that because it's a Mexican restaurant. Like, they're just the restaurant that happens to wash their hands. I've seen them do it.
I consider Mi Pueblo more of Mexican store that has a restaurant included.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't understand that store. Like, I thought they, because they're so successful with the restaurant. I thought they just
Delicious
expanded the
tacos.
restaurant. Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you this. What's the best, and I don't care if it's authentic. I hate that whenever you have some pretentious jerk who's like, oh, that's not really authentic Mexican food. I'm like, wait, who cares? What's your favorite taco in the region?
It'd probably be Pueblo. Like, because I've seen them, like another owner, but I've seen them like, my favorite thing is barbacoa.
Uh-huh.
And I've seen like he cuts out like every piece of fat in that barbacoa before he cooks it. Like it takes him forever, but he takes the time to do that. No, I appreciate that. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Have you ever had suadero?
No, what's that?
What is suadero, Erica?
Huh?
What's a suadero taco?
Suadero?
Is it beef?
Yeah.
What part of beef?
I think it's a mixture of everything.
It's like tripe or whatever.
Yeah. No, not tribe. I think it's just like a mixture of everything.
Hot dogs.
I don't think it's hot dogs.
So,
It's pretty much hot dogs, just like a mixture of
Oh,
cow hooves and lips.
right.
And whatever's around.
But it's delicious. I don't think you can get them here. I think you can get them, but it's rare.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I can't, like, there's a lot of things I could taste, like I could try, but I can't do cow tongue. I can't do lingua. Like if you ever seen like just those tongues, because first
Yeah,
of
you
all,
can see the texture of the tongue still on the meat.
no, Scott, you don't understand. You can go to the store and buy tongues,
Uh-huh.
like just bags of tongues.
Right.
Tongues, Scott.
Yeah.
No,
They have them at Walmart now.
do they really?
Yeah, in the meat section at Walmart, they have like these different kinds of meat that are for Mexican related foods.
I think it's time to build that wall.
You think so?
we got the bags of tongue.
Grow that wall and get that tongue out of here.
Yeah.
Get that tongue out.
We're full. Sorry, folks. We're at
Nah.
capacity. I'm kidding. Love everybody.
I think Rancho Tapatio has some pretty good. Remember that day we went to Rancho with
Where's that at? Is that Lexington?
the one that me, you, and Erica and Perrine went to? I think we met with Perrine before she
Oh,
went
yeah,
back.
yeah.
And we all sit there.
What do they have? What you said they had?
They're freaking tacos. And they have the lonches, the little sandwiches,
Yeah.
and tortas. And lonches too, yeah.
tortas.
And they have lonches too. And tortas.
I'm sure you're butchering Spanish.
No, I'm not. How do you pronounce it, Erica? Lonche, right?
Tortas.
'Cause I know they have that, but they also have lonches, right?
But that's not Mexican.
I don't think it's a real word.
Thomas?
I think you're trying to say lunchy.
No, I am not.
Okay. Okay.
Hold on, no, I want to show you.
Tortas.
Now Erica's just being. Look, lonche de jamon. Lonches. Like that.
Lonche.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I get really frustrated sometimes, like whenever I say,
Tortas.
Oh, I know what you're gonna say. I hate that.
like I say something I know
You
for
say
a fact.
it's so close
Oh no, it's
to the real
perfect.
word.
Like I love Erica's sister-in-law,
Yeah.
Alicia. I love her. She's very sweet. But one day we were in here and I was trying to tell her how something was made,
Yeah.
and I said, it's like TOmate y sal. And she's like, what? And I was like, sal. She's like, what is that? And I was like, Saul. S-A-L. She's like, oh, Saul.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and she said it exactly the way I said it. I was like, you've got to be messing with me.
Yeah. That is super frustrating.
Because it's not salt. It's sal. You have to open your mouth.
You know what the hell he's saying.
Sal.
Yeah.
Open your mouth.
Let's get that border. Let's get that wall on.
I'm ready to build it.
we're both married to Mexicans, so we're allowed to say it, just like Quentin
Oh,
Tarantino
let's make a
saying the N
podcast
word.
with the names, but after you guys, so we can talk about
No,
Mexican
No.
American husbands.
no.
Yes, and we call it the podcast of Mexican.
I think it's time to get out of here. I think, yeah.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
think Preston, you want to?
I don't want you to leave because then I'll probably think of something and then I'll be like, oh wait, we should have done that.
Well, this won't be our last show. for sure. Tune in next time to TOmate and Scooter bring you the apocalypse, or learning to love the apocalypse. Next apocalypse, let's try to do this weekly. Let's set up a day when we're gonna do this again.
Well, I mean, we're not going anywhere, so
Yeah,
probably any Friday or Saturday.
next Friday.
Yeah.
Tune in next Friday, May the 15th. Lord willing, we haven't had the second coming by then. We're all still around. The more between the murder hornets and the coronavirus. What do you think? What's the next big?
I'm going to try by the next podcast. I'm going to try to acquire a box of murder hornets.
And do what?
So we can
Like
look at
dead
them.
ones?
No, live ones, so we can just look at them. I like having in the little
A little jar,
box and watch them.
Yeah, nothing possibly go wrong with
Yeah.
that.
Could you imagine if I and just somehow open it, it just starts flying off, and then
we
one
still
of
got
us-
to do the show.
and one of us gets stung? Yeah.
What's the next curveball? We had the coronavirus and the murder hornets. Kim Jong-un.
Kim Jong-un. He survived, actually.
Did he survive?
Yeah, they showed him
I
on.
think they're weekend at Bernie's in him.
No, he's under his own power, walking around.
I'm not buying
I was very interested in seeing how his sister would have handled business.
Yeah.
They said that she was more ruthless than he is.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I heard she was like the popular.
Yeah, but I see that's what I'm saying. Like, how would you know?
That's true.
You know, like how they're like, oh,
It's
well,
a
you need to watch
dictatorship.
her. She's more aggressive. How would they know that if
Yeah.
she's not been in a position to be able to?
Probably staying alive in that family. You know what I mean? Like, it can't be easy. They got all types of uncles and stuff that they've had killed, and
Yeah, I'd like to go to Pyongyang. I'd like to go there.
I would love it if I could get some kind of diplomatic immunity. I'd love to go to North
I
Korea.
just think it'd be crazy to just like see the loyalty and just like the pictures. Whenever we went to Dubai, we saw there on all the walls and every business you went to. Like whenever we were checking into the hotel, I was just kicked back, waiting on them to type stuff in the computer, and I was looking around, and then you look over on the wall, and they have these big pictures of the rulers.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Like
Not like
Texas,
like whenever you go into a government building, like if you go into a federal courthouse or something, or a federal building, they have like the picture of President Trump or
yeah.
whoever the president is. Like this is in every business. They have a big painting or a picture of the.
The royalty over the royal families.
And that's the thing is, I think that goes back to what I was talking about being together. I understand they're under the one party different way of doing things, but they were unified. You know, even though there were a lot of Pakistanis,
Mhm.
you know, there were Hindus and Muslims and Christians in the area. It seems like they were all together for one united. And like there wasn't any division there. It didn't seem like anyway. We were in there for a couple of weeks, but it just seemed like there was a.
Do you think that has to do with them all being Muslim or all being
What
Arabic or all being?
with one of it was a weird turn of events. Erica knew someone who was there working through like a third party who was like, she told the third party, hey, we're going here. Oh, I know so-and-so there, so you guys can maybe meet up with him. And we did. And he's Christian, and he said that they love him and that they pretty much anything in the bud before it happens.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know. It's very.
But it's not a democracy, right? It's
Under the rule of
just the royal family. Yeah.
they're so pro. They were very. I guess there's a dark underside to it too, because there's, you know, they talk about like the literally slave labor. They bring people in and keep their
Oh,
passports
yeah.
to build the buildings, but
A lot of like Filipinos and Africans and
yeah, but there was a very positive, like just the whole attitude, like the vibe, you know, like whenever you go into some cities and you're like, this place feels toxic. I didn't feel like, it felt like something I never felt before, just like the openness and
You felt safe.
I felt 100% safe. Like
Yeah.
at no point did I ever feel unsafe.
There's some like very welcoming cities, and then there's some
Oh.
cities like you just like, I can't wait to leave. Like
Yeah.
I love like Oakland. Like I went to Oakland, and you know, I don't know if it was the weather, but like everybody was like really friendly, really nice every time you walk in the place. But exact opposite of like Miami.
Really?
Yeah, like Miami, people are in such a rush.
Uh-huh.
You know, if you're not driving a Lamborghini or whatever, it's like, you know, just kind of get out of the way.
I guess it depends. Whenever you went to Miami, did you go to the Calle Ocho, the Little Havana
I
area?
went to I don't know, South Beach from like that main.
Oh, okay. Well, see, that's whenever we went. I took the trip
Mhm.
back in February or late January and early February, and went to whenever Eric and I went, we went to a couple of little local places, like Cuban places, and very inviting, very, very warm. But of course, if you go to South Beach where the people are driving the Lambos and the Bentleys and stuff, you know, probably it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
I guess it just depends on where you go. We need to take a trip down there and check out those areas like I was just talking about. And I think you'd enjoy it more. But would you believe I've never been to California in my life?
Seriously?
In my life, never.
Been to Vegas.
Been to Vegas a few times, yeah.
Yeah.
But we need to take a trip then. We should plan that when everything opens back up. You ever been to Cancun?
No, I haven't. The only place I've been to Mexico is just right on the border.
Hey, big girl.
That's the puppy. That's not the.
It's not the murder hound.
No. Yeah, there's a good name for him. Murder. Oh my god.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah.
Come here.
How much you say he weighs now?
It should be approximately 75 pounds.
You don't need a gun with that walking around. I told you I sat in the car when I pulled up. I didn't want to get out because he was just walking around by himself.
Did he see you?
Oh yeah, he saw me. He came up, and just looked at me. I was like, okay, I'll wait.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, did not want.
I think we should take a trip to Cancun. We should go. Me and you and Eric and Esmeralda should go to Cancun. Then go to one of these all-inclusive resorts.
Would you do a cruise, knowing what you know now? Like,
I wouldn't be scared. I wouldn't be scared to do one, but I don't know, man. I think I'd prefer us go to Cancun just because, you know, the cruise, you're like, okay, you get off and go for the day. Whenever you're get out, experience the city.
yeah,
I think I like that. I don't know. I wouldn't be opposed to a cruise, but I prefer to go.
but you don't feel like a health risk or anything taking a cruise or.
No,
I mean,
because
not
I'm
right now, of course, but I mean, you know, a year or so down the line,
I don't think so.
you would.
Would you?
I don't know, because they always talk about, like, even before this COVID stuff happened.
It's just like a petri dish of,
Yeah, exactly.
of
Like,
viruses and bacteria.
exactly. Like that rebreathed air and
Yeah, I don't think it'd be that bad. But I think I'd prefer, or maybe a Las Vegas trip would be cool. Have you ever been to Vegas?
yeah, that's another city. I kind of like the Miami. Like it's another not very welcoming.
There's a lot of Midwestern Karens there. You know what I mean?
K word. I can't say Karen. Excuse me. K people.
Yeah, I don't. I've always had fun when we went.
Yeah,
It-
I had fun, but still, it's not the same. Like it's not Oakland. It's not. Atlanta's kind of on the border. Like
Erica went to Atlanta back in, I guess it was December or November.
Atlanta's
trip.
cool. Like Atlanta's like very metropolitan. Everybody's like here. You can go out to Applebee's or whatever, and you're in jogging clothes. Like people dress up to go out in Atlanta, and it's the first city I've been to, and it's like it's Blackwell. You know, like black people are. Hey, girl, I'm sorry, I can't say black people. It's African Americans. African American well. She don't like that. It's African American wealth when you go there. And I thought that was very cool. But with that being said, you think Southern hospitality, you get way more Southern hospitality in Kentucky than you
Really?
do in Atlanta. Oh yeah,
Maybe because it's so busy.
I think it's part of it. It's a bigger city.
How about Savannah? Somewhere like Savannah.
Savannah's nice.
I think so. Yeah, Savannah would be excellent. 'Cause there's
I don't know how much there is to do there, but like just the historical.
and just close to the beach.
I've never been to New Orleans.
I've never been to New Orleans.
I've been through New Orleans.
We should go to New Orleans then.
That'd be a nice trip.
That would be a nice.
Let's do that.
Okay.
I bet cheap.
Do you think it'd be funner to go someplace where you've both been, and then just be like, hey, this is cool. Let's go. I like to we like to do that. Let's go over here and just see what we both like to do and make a big trip out of it, so we both can experience that. Or would you think we should just go explore somewhere together we've never been?
I like to go somewhere new.
You think so?
Yeah. And you know who's close to New Orleans? Somebody we ain't seen in a while.
Who?
Went to school with. I don't know if you want to say his name on here. Indian.
Oh, Shahed?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can go see Shahed.
Go see Shahed at 2417 Lake Silver Drive. Just go ahead and say his name.
Well, I don't know if I would go that far.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't have any problem at all saying talking about people that I know, because it's they're friends, and that's I have nothing but good things to say about people. You know, and if it was to be somebody I didn't like, I just wouldn't acknowledge it. Yeah.
I would. Let me start with my list. No.
Yeah, and he just pull it out and froze and rolls across the floor.
Yeah. Let me tell you a little something about Jefferson County Public Schools, people. No, I'm joking. Happy to have a job. Not a teacher. This is Coca-Cola I'm drinking.
So when are you going back to work then?
Oh, that's something else I want to talk to you about. School year. Next year. Like, what is that going to be?
Actually, I wanted to bring something up to you. I read somebody posted a guidelines. I don't know what school district it was from, but they said that they're not going to be able to leave, like the kids aren't going to be able to leave their desks. The desks are going to be separated, and they're not going to have like traditional lunches. They're going to bring the lunch in to the kids, and they're going to hand them out, and they can't get their desks to go to a lunchroom and eat and things. Is that something they're going to do you think?
And there's so many like ideas floating around right now. I've heard one theory I heard is they're going to have A and B days where half the school comes like Monday and Wednesday, and the other half comes Tuesday and Thursday. Just to try to space it out. I've heard we might not go back to school until like January, and be online again. I've heard Bashir, I think, came out and said, "Hey, let's go back in July in case we have to shut down again. We'll already have some days in." It's so up in the air right now.
It's just unprecedented, and that's what I keep hearing. I keep hearing the different terms like these uncertain times and these unprecedented times. But that's and whenever you hear it so much, you're like, I'm tired of hearing that. But at the same time, there's really nothing else to say, because this has never happened before.
What do you think is more unprecedented? What we're going through right now, or like right after September 11th?
Well, what's happening right now?
You think so?
Absolutely.
I don't know. Like I felt really this is definitely world changing. But you don't think like September 11th was just as world changing, like how you like the circumstances right after?
I remember where I was at when September 11th happened. I was in Keene Hall. I was at EKU, and I was in Keene Hall in my room.
Keene Hall. I was just funny. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That on September 11th?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I woke up late for class.
What floor was you on?
I want to say 7.
He's like 4. I think I was on the 11th.
Okay. Were you on the police floor, or were you?
No. Wow.
No.
I was still a student.
You're still a student?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
When did you graduate? High school.
97. I took a couple extra years just messing around.
Right.
Yeah. So I graduated KU in December 2002.
Okay. Right.
So I was still there in 2001. But I remember I woke up and I had this little television, and I turned it on, and then I saw it all happen. I was like, huh. So then I remember seeing it, and I was like, God, this is crazy. And everybody was talking about it. I thought, well, time to go to class. So I got down and went down over to the Stratton building, and we started. I think we actually started class, and it's like, we're not having class. Sorry. And then everybody left for the day, and then they canceled classes, I think, didn't they?
Yeah, they canceled classes that day, but I think we went back no more than 2 days later.
Yeah.
September 11th was a Tuesday, and I think by Friday we were having normal classes again. But I don't think it was mandatory. I think they were kind of giving you the option, but they were like, we need to get back to normal as soon as possible. All right, buddy, you're in charge. Yes, you are. Yes, whatever you want. Go ahead. What do you got to say?
But do you remember? I remember I needed to buy gas. I needed gas anyway. I wasn't running to get gas, but I remember I needed to get gas, and I went to the Murphy Express at Walmart, and it was like 10 cars deep, because I guess people was like, we're about to go to war with Iran or Iraq or whoever, and like there was a run on gas for that day. I don't know if you remember that or not.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And that's like I think that's like when gas shot up and like never really came down.
I remember, yeah. Whenever I was still working at Kroger, I'd go work at the Kroger part time on the weekend. Whenever I would leave, I would go on the weekend to go back home to Middlesboro and work at Kroger. And I remember gas was like $4 a gallon then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I remember I would be running they had the Kroger gas station, and then people would come through the line and they were like, gas is so high. And I was like, no. I just remember it being like $4 a gallon then.
And I think like if you were alive, like neither one of us were, if you were alive like during the 70s.
Oh, and during the gas crisis?
Yeah, like you saw that. But yeah, I don't like September 11th. I don't know if that's ever been like even Pearl Harbor. I guess it's not like that. Okay, even World War II. Is that okay to say? All right, World War II. Even like when that kicked off.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that was like it's September. You know what I mean? Like. Obviously, I didn't live through that, but like, would I be like, okay, I've been through this before when I saw September 11th? Because even that was like Hawaii, that wasn't the main one.
Well, I think that it'd be a little bit. September 11th would be a little bit. See, that's what I hate about doing these podcasts, just because things could be taken out of context or whatever. But I'm just trying to think out loud here and say that whenever Pearl Harbor happened, I mean, that was an attack on a military target, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, in this one. I mean, it was civilian, and I don't want to downplay it or downplay military lives versus civilian lives by any means. But in this one, it's just like a civilian target in the middle of the city being struck, versus a military base being struck. So I think maybe then in some people's minds, you could look at that and say that that's why it struck the conscience more, because it was just a building in New York City with just regular people jumping to their deaths. They were choosing between fire and falling to their death, and some just fall to their death.
Right.
So, and plus it was just broadcasted too.
I think that was the biggest part. Like, television wasn't television in 1944, 43, 42.
Mm-hmm.
42 now, yeah. Pearl Harbor, yeah.
And plus, they had the second. Whenever the second plane hit, I mean, they had it on video.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like, oh, this has happened. Here's a picture of it. Like they were recording, and then here came the second one.
And that was the game changer. That was like, because at first we didn't know. Like, was it an accident? Was it, just somebody fell asleep at the wheel? You know what I mean? Like the pilot. But then, like once we saw that second, like, oh, this we're under attack.
What do you think about the Pentagon and the non-availability of any good video of the plane hitting the Pentagon? Because I would assume in 2001 they already had pretty good video footage. Well, not even that, but just like security cameras.
Yeah.
I figured they'd have I
don't know if I can't imagine they'd have security cameras pointing to the sky though.
But I mean, it came in like I don't know. I think there's one where it's like a very slow frame rate where it's just like dun, dun, and then it just shows like an explosion. But I would have figured that they would have had more cameras.
Shit was crazy. Now we're talking about camera footage. The government just coming out and like, yeah, there's UFOs. By the way,
and I'm like, yeah, I know, but what's really weird about that, Thomas, is people were just like, oh, well, they didn't say they're extraterrestrial, so it doesn't matter. But the fact of the matter is, there's something that's defying physics.
Yeah, nothing we were able to do as a species of human beings.
And it doesn't matter if they're actually extraterrestrials from another planet or not. The fact is, there's something that's defying physics, and that should be that should be front page news. And the fact that it's not just some dude out here with his iPhone recording, zooming in and out of blurry footage. I mean, it's an ongoing, continuous, however long video of these trained Navy pilots who have had to pass psychological tests and are lucid as they can be, saying, well, this is what happened. And everybody's just like, oh, well.
Yeah, I think
it's insane that's not the biggest news in the world.
Yeah, you would think that is what changed the world, not COVID-19. But yeah, we're not alone, and it's confirmed. The government is like, yeah.
But that's the thing. I mean, But that's the thing. It always comes back to people like, oh well, they're not confirming extraterrestrial. The fact that there's something that's defined physics and it can't be explained, and the Pentagon's like, yeah, it's real.
Yeah, because otherwise you're saying, okay, America made it, and we just haven't released the technology yet. Another country made it, which is even scarier. It's not the United States that's got this capability, or we don't know where it came from. Like it's not man-made. Like even any of those.
And that's why I don't think it's That's why I don't think it's American made, because why would they know the capabilities of the jet fighters, right? They know the capabilities of the planes, and they're going to have the forward-looking infrared, right? And they know everything's going to be recorded. So why would they put themselves in that situation to be intercepted by the planes?
Like why would we test ourselves with ourselves?
Yeah,
and not tell us
exactly
before or after. Yeah. No, I totally agree. Like. And that raises more questions. Like, okay, if this is alien technology, we're not alone. You know.
Did you hear about Did you ever watch the Alex Jones interview on Joe Rogan?
Yeah.
Where he started talking about interdimensional beings, and then Joe Rogan was talking about taking DMT and how do you say it?
Yeah.
The other. Yeah. And they said that every time that people do it, they see the exact same visions. But whenever you take LSD, apparently everybody has a different experience.
Like me, you can take it and we'll have.
But like we would independently take it. Like you would take it and go here, and then I could go over here, and we would see the same beings, or we would see the same things.
Yeah, that interview made a scary amount of sense. Like
it did.
He was talking about like we're extensions of God, and like God is running the simulation through us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that made a scary amount of sense.
Yeah, I've always, and that's another thing that's Alex Jones. Whenever they deplatformed him across all the platforms, I get the Sandy Hook thing, and I get the harassing the survivors, which is a shitty thing to have done. But the fact that he was deplatformed across all of these, you can't. If I recorded a clip of Alex Jones and just upload YouTube, they would ban me, I guess, right? And it's just.
Do they deplatform off of YouTube? Is he not?
Oh, he's deplatformed off of Facebook. You can't put him on Facebook,
like
YouTube,
you can't say his name?
Spotify. I think I think if you do it if you do it as like a news report saying Alex Jones did this, Alex Jones got a DUI, or here's a clip of Alex Jones doing something stupid, and they're like, look how stupid he is. Like they could do that. But yeah. But
you can't cite him and like.
Yeah, like you can't upload a video of him.
But he
just
did
by
an interview with Joe Rogan, so I would think it'd be okay.
Yeah, that is weird, isn't it?
Yeah, so I don't think he's like.
No, he's completely. He can't upload his own. Like he can't.
They took his channel away.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but he's I don't know, but that's. And then I kept seeing people like, "Good, he don't need to be on there anyway." Like, but I was like, that's. And I get that they're private platforms and they can curate content however they wish, but at the same time, it kind of sets a dangerous precedent. It seems like it's like, well, I mean, he's not vulgar. He's not.
I mean, he cusses and stuff, but he's not like over the top as far as that goes. Yeah.
Yeah, but and at the same time though, there's some really questionable stuff on YouTube. Like if you saw the Elsa Gate and things like that.
No, what's the Elsa Gate?
Elsa from Frozen, where they were. There were like in the suggested videos, it was just showing up like the questionable material that people had made with Elsa and stuff like that.
No.
Yeah.
No, like what do you mean? Like,
well, I think
it's like Elsa being sexually suggestive or something?
Yes.
Okay. No, I know like there's a lot of like just Elsa showing up. Okay, now I'm going to teach you yoga. Right now, Elsa's going to play with toys. Elsa breaks down the newest Big Mac or Happy Meal or whatever. But no, I didn't know. So, like, what are they complaining? Like, are they saying like they're sucking kids into this inappropriate content kind of thing?
Yeah, we'll have to talk about that later. But there's just a bunch of weird things going on YouTube.
Yeah. Like if you, like I know I got a 4-year-old. Like if you don't watch, like you can put something innocent on, and then check YouTube 45 minutes ago. 45 minutes later, check what she's watching, and it's something totally crazy. Like this, no kid should be watching this, but it follows that rabbit hole of videos.
What was it? There's something on Wikipedia that no matter what you initially search for or what article you start with, it always ends up with, what was it? Hold on, I've got to tell you this. Hold on, just a second. I can't remember the term, but or the topic, but within so many clicks, it gets you back to a certain topic. Hold on.
That's funny. Like I definitely, while you're looking it up, I definitely do think, I know it sounds crazy to say like, there's an Illuminati.
Yeah, here it is. All Wikipedia ends in philosophy, literally. What? Yeah, so if you click on the first non-italicized term of nearly any Wikipedia entry, eventually you end up at their philosophy page.
Like Wikipedia specific philosophy on stuff, or just philosophy?
No, just like the topic of philosophy on Wikipedia.
So if you go like 10 deep.
I guess it varies.
Right.
I guess the number of clicks you have to go through varies, but you eventually wind up on the page for philosophy.
That's crazy.
I know.
Let's get Coca-Cola.
Yeah, would you like some more?
Yeah.
There you go.
There's the Coca-Cola. Show everybody. Are you Pepsi and Coke? Neither one of them are paying us, so we'll drink whatever. Whatever's laying around.
Pure. Have the barn too.
What's the barn?
The barn.
What's in the barn? Oh. I don't get it, but I'll laugh. Okay.
Erica had a supernatural experience the other day.
Here?
Erica, would you like to come here and tell us about your scary experience on the way to work the other day?
Here? Like in this house or in this
property? No, she pulled out of because they're on different shifts now. She leaves at like 4 in the morning.
All right.
So she pulls at 5 in the morning. She leaves at 5 in the morning, and she pulled out and went down to this little road out here.
Yeah.
And you know where you go under the train tracks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Underneath
the train trestle. And she was coming around that curve at 5 in the morning. There was a woman with no shoes, with a blanket wrapped around her like this, just walking down the road at 5 in the morning, and it's pitch black out.
And y'all sure like it wasn't a real woman like walking down the street? Like,
well, I don't know. It's kind of weird that at 5 in the morning, just no shoes.
This is Richmond, Kentucky. Like it doesn't. Yeah, this has been the needle. I'll buy it.
And we keep hearing things in the barn also. I don't know what. Don't know what that is.
Everybody's curious. Like we're out.
Thomas, we keep hearing footsteps in here too. Right, Erica?
He said y'all heard footsteps at night.
Where, here?
Yeah.
In the roof sometimes, but that's just like her.
No, after dark we hear like things walking around in the cellar, or not the cellar, but the
roof.
I think it's coming from that area that we wanted to inspect. Maybe we should make that our next podcast. Maybe like a live stream or something.
Like Al Capone's vault.
Like what?
Go check out the attic that you're scared to go and open.
Yeah.
We'll open it up next time.
We were talking to our neighbor the other day about a big raccoon. He said it was like a monster raccoon in his attic.
Yeah.
And he said that he had a live trap. You know, like she just opened it up and the door shuts behind it so don't kill him.
Yeah.
He said that he had a pair of like these big gloves on to keep it from scratching him. He said that he went to pick the cage up and then it was like scratching at him and biting at him.
It was like too big to fit in the cage?
Pretty much, yeah. And then he went and he grabbed a bottle of ether and knocked it out.
Wait. He hit it with the bottle of ether?
He poured it on a rag and then put it on its mouth and knocked it out.
He date raped the raccoon.
Yeah, I guess.
He roofied it.
Yeah, he gave it a roofie and then just hauled it off and live released it and he just woke up and left. I just thought that was the most funny thing I'd ever heard.
Staggered off. None of his raccoon friends believed him.
Yeah, I just was like, well, it's pretty quick thinking. I don't even think I have anything to safely knock out a live animal at this house.
A gun, a bat.
But I said safely.
Yeah, I mean, safe for you.
It'd be safe for me, yeah. That I think that would be something that I wouldn't even if I had ether, I probably wouldn't even think to do that.
Yeah, like how did he have it? First of all, who carries ether around? Second, who has it clearly labeled in a reachable place, you might want to watch your neighbor.
It's just like one of these old timey dark brown bottles, and it just says ether on it.
It's like triple X's.
Yeah.
That brings another subject. So like Bill Cosby was in the news about.
Okay. First of all,
do you think? Hold on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Think that like it was more acceptable in the 70s and stuff to like slip girls Mickeys?
yes, absolutely.
You-
No, hold on. Let me stop there, and because I want to qualify it. I want to say that Scott says
It was more acceptable.
it's acceptable to ever do it. But I think that, of course, if just watch shows like Mad Men, there was definitely a more chauvinistic style of thinking among men, where it's like, oh, it's not a big deal. We'll just do that. But yeah, I
she
mean,
should have been out by herself, and yeah.
I think that, of course, I think that it's probably looked at different then. Do you think?
Oh yeah, and I mean, yeah, for sure. Because even like aside from roofies, there was this sense of boys will be boys until like very recently.
Yeah.
And so I mean, I can't imagine, definitely. I mean, you could get pulled over. I think George Bush Sr. was like pulled over drunk driving and got a DUI, and like in the 70s, it's almost impossible. Like
And I think when George W. He's a fan of cocaine.
Junior.
Yeah,
W?
George W. Yeah, he was a coke fan.
Was he really? I could see that. Oh, in college or whatever.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know how long it lasted, but he was.
He seemed like it got him out of his system.
He enjoyed the bumps.
Yeah. I mean, whatever. It was the 80s, a different time.
Yeah, it's different times.
Good time.
If you got all that money and you're well connected, you can do whatever you want to. What was that I read?
He's Mexican.
Really?
Yeah, like his granddad, Herbert Walker Bush's dad. He's like straight Mexican, like straight from Mexico.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I don't know what part, but yeah, he's pretty much Mexican. Yeah.
You know what's? I don't think that there's been I would have never imagined that as quickly as it has, that people have started, that the public has had a fondness now for George W. Like
It's George W.
Yeah, it's just
I
like
would take 4 terms of George. Like looking back, like George,
which is odd.
He was hated.
He was hated. I mean, like there was like he's got us into 2 wars into 2 different countries at once.
But if you look back at it, like George Bush, when it was Cheney. Like it was Cheney overreaching, and with the corrupt.
You know what we should do? We should watch Vice and live stream it and have commentary.
Over all the shows.
Just us watching it. No, the Vice, the Dick Cheney movie.
Was it Vice? No, what's his movie called?
Vice.
You sure?
Yeah.
I saw the Dick Cheney one with
Christian Bale.
Yeah, Christian Bale.
It's called Vice.
Are you sure?
Or is it called Dick?
I thought it was called Dick. Yeah.
No, Dick is the one about Richard Nixon.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, why would Cheney? They're just calling him a dick at that point. Well,
yeah, it's Vice. It's 2018 Vice.
Okay.
Vice president. He just shot the dude in the hunting accident. You know what I mean? Like, I know stuff happens.
Yeah. And then he apologizes, like, I'm so sorry.
But like, how many people? But what I'm saying is, like, how many people do you know personally that's went out on a hunting accident and shot somebody? And but it just so happens, like, the second most powerful man in the world just randomly shoots a guy during a hunting accident.
Yeah.
And I know plenty of hunters, and I've never heard of one shooting another guy.
And I don't think Cheney felt bad. Like he didn't. I don't ever remember him apologizing or. I don't know. He's a good friend of mine. I hope he's doing all right. Yeah, he's a scary VP. But like, yeah, it goes back to, George Bush. He was a pretty likable person. You know what I mean? Like, if you look at what he said and what he stood for.
Yeah. You remember the time that he was in Iraq and the guy threw the shoe at him? And he's like, whoop. And they saw it coming again. He's like, whoop. And he just stuck it twice.
Was it him or was it his dad?
Oh, no, that was him. That was W. Yeah, W was.
Because then they throw shoes. They threw shoes at his dad, too, I thought.
Did they?
I'm almost sure. No, they shot at his dad. I remember that.
Oh.
When he was over there and like you could see all the Secret Servicemen put briefcases up in front of him and stuff, and they put him in that limo.
Oh,
yeah.
And that one time he was in Japan with the Japanese prime minister.
And he threw up.
And he's like, And he was just sitting there like, oh, yeah, this is really good sushi. And then the next thing you know, he's just like, "Bleh, bleh," and it just kind of collapses.
But no, he threw up on it. He threw up on the prime minister.
Yeah, and then he collapsed, though.
Did he?
Yeah, I think, I don't know what happened. But then, do you remember that time that Hillary collapsed? Did you see that?
Yeah. And they tried to sweep it under the rug. Oh, she's just tired.
Yeah, and then like they were carrying her off, and like her shoes were falling off, and she was obviously limp, and they just tossed her in the back of the van.
She's roofie.
Yeah.
And that reminds me, they were talking about, if you ever read Bill Clinton's book about like his autobiography about him growing up, he apparently comes from like an abusive home growing up. Like his parents or his dad or something was like really abusive. And I heard Dr. Drew saying that, he really fits the mold of like a sex addict. And then I was a huge Bill Clinton fan. Like,
Oh, everybody loved Bill Clinton. Do you remember Bill Clinton on Arsenio?
Yeah. I mean, he came and charmed everybody. He's, really charming.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like, you hear like the actual full-fledged like rape allegations against him.
Like serious.
Like serious, yeah. Like not like we got carried away.
Do you remember the time that Hillary Clinton and Trump were in a debate, and Trump brought all the rape accusation people, like the people that accused him of rape,
and like put them front row.
And they're sitting in the front row. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's a hell of a move. But that like really makes sense to me. Like I bet like that's a big part of his MO. Like maybe he was he's like a full-fledged sex addict for a while, and just powerful people seeing what they can get away with. But with that being said, like, how you gonna hold that against Hillary? Like, I never understood that part. You got this guy who cheated on each wife with each next wife, and he's the moral standard against a woman who stood by her.
Well, not only that, I mean, they had him on audio being like, I'm such a powerful dude that women will do anything that I say, and I'm just
gonna grab him by the
and that's why I've never got. I get it, like I can maybe not condone it, but I can understand, like the ultra right wing being like, yeah, Trump. I can get that, but the evangelicals, I can. That's the part I don't understand. Like, obviously, this dude is like he's on tape saying stuff like that.
Yeah, and it's just I think it's just tribalism. Like your party, so it's got to be the right moral choice.
I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I don't know. I would. I don't know if you could meet one president that's still living, and just sit down with him and just talk to him and just maybe like have a burger with him or have a beer with him and just sit down and talk to him. Which one would you want to? That's still living.
I'd have to rank them. So first, it had to be Obama, and. At the time, I was more excited than anybody about Obama, and I can see like how people, especially Black people, are disappointed with his presidency. Like he could have did more, or should have did more, whatever. But still, just a celebrity.
That's the historical significance.
Well, not only that, just somebody cool. Like it's since Clinton.
Okay.
Clinton was cool, but Obama was like really. You can see like hanging out, shooting ball with Obama.
With his dad jeans.
Obama. I don't remember. Do you have dad jeans?
Wait, what am I thinking? Yeah,
you're thinking of Romney.
Oh, am I?
I think you're thinking of Mitt Romney. I don't remember.
How was he doing? Oh, like the picture of him like eating ice cream or something. I think maybe
just hanging out.
Yeah,
he seems like he'd be somebody cool to hang out with.
Oh yeah, I'd like to hang out with Obama.
And then I don't know, it'd be a push. It'd be a push after that between Bush and Clinton, Bush Jr. and Clinton.
I think I like to hang out with Clinton.
Clinton, yeah, I like to pick his brain. Like, what were you like? Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, even with all those allegations, like, I don't know,
See, and I think that's something that we need to appreciate is the title of the president. Because I think whenever the current issues whenever the current timeline's happening, we're like, oh, I hate Trump, or oh, I hate Obama.
Yeah.
But whenever you look back at it, you're like, there's a historical, there's like an event, or there was a time period of historical significance, and you can look back and be like, I can appreciate it for what it was.
And does that make me a hypocrite to be like, I appreciate who Bill Clinton is, like his politics and his personality, and I still back him. But I think Trump is deplorable for saying grab up and grab, because like it's my guy, Clinton.
Well, let me ask you this: do you think in 10 years that your opinion would change? Like it may have.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I have to say, like even now.
That's what I mean. Like whenever you look back and you're like, okay, that was a time period that was part of our story as a nation.
Like before Trump got elected or while he was running, like I had a super low opinion of him. I borderline hated this guy, and even so, my expectations were so low that he far exceeded them. You know what I mean? Like I just expected him to be the worst human being, president / dictator, whatever. And despite all the, him skirting the law and pardoning super corrupt people, like I expected him to be far worse.
Like
so he exceeded that. What's that?
Blagojevich.
Yeah. Like his whole.
Who sold Obama's empty Senate seat, right?
Yeah.
Or he was seeking bids for it.
He was. I think he pretty much sold it.
Okay.
I think yeah, like he sold it, bought and paid for it. But yeah, so like he far exceeded my expectations. Just because I expected the worst from him.
Expected this to be in like a World War III within a year or something, or
I expected that, and some of it I kind of got what I expected. Like I expected, like when you got somebody who's got that kind of rhetoric of, maybe we should listen to the far right neo-Nazi group.
Oh, like when they're in Charlottesville when he said there's
good people on both sides.
Yeah.
But like even before, like even when he was running, he was like, they were asking him questions like, you disavow the Klan and David Duke and stuff and like not want their support. And he's like, well, I want to know what they stand for. And he's like, he's the head of the Klan. He's like, this is a softball question. Why don't you answering this? He's like, I just want to know a little bit more about him.
Well, yeah.
And like that kind of stuff, you're definitely empowering those kind of people. So going into that, like
he's probably empowering, but I don't know if he's doing it intentionally. Just because like maybe he's trying to, like whenever he was thinking out loud with talking about injecting
Lysol.
Yeah, injecting disinfectant or using a disinfectant treatment intravenously. Maybe whenever he said that, he was just saying like, well, no, I don't know, But again, anybody in their right mind that's in the public view, if you're allowed to question like that, you should immediately knock it out of the park and be like, no, of course I don't want anything to do with them.
Yeah. And it's dangerous. Like you see, that's why I really believe that's why we got Charlottesville, because they felt emboldened by him not taking a stance against them. So I kind of get what I expected with that.
Charlottesville was a big. I think we underestimate or downplay the significance of Charlottesville.
Oh yeah,
that was huge.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I don't blame Trump directly for a lot. Like COVID-19 is not. I don't really blame him. Like nobody. I don't think you could have done much better or much worse in that position.
I don't think you could either. And you know what? I think that's another thing that whenever he talks about fake news and how the media, I see this stuff and I'm like, you can see examples of when he instituted the travel ban. They're like, some of the media were like, no, you don't need to be doing that. You don't. And now 3 months later, they're like, oh, he didn't do it. He didn't do it soon enough.
Yeah.
All right.
You can't have it both ways. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And like I said, I try not to second guess him because I don't see what he sees. But when it comes to things like Charlottesville, that's open and shut. Like you should have did more in that situation.
Yeah.
That's not a.
And the fact that there were literally neo-Nazis on showing up to Charlottesville and then saying there are good people on both sides. There may have been good people on the side. There may have been people just that showed up that were like, hey, I'm kind of concerned about this, but I'm not a full-fledged Nazi.
And for border security or something like that.
Exactly. Yeah. Like I don't want gang members crossing the border.
Yeah.
I don't want MS-13 showing up, and I'm here to voice that opinion, But when it's just very tricky to be president, And whenever you have somebody that's as brash and polarizing as Trump, it just makes it that much more difficult, I guess.
Yeah.
But
yeah. But here's the crazy thing, though. Like he says like he's done more for African Americans than any president before him. And I kind of like look at the numbers. I look what he did, and I look at what like Obama did, what Clinton did, like who they put in office, and I can't call him a liar. You know what I mean?
record black employment, right? Or like record low numbers of black unemployment.
Black unemployment, but just like if you look at people he's put in positions, like Bush had Rice and
I like
Condoleezza Rice and Powell.
Uh-huh.
Who did Obama put in his cabinet or in his, you know what I mean? Like who, and you look at Trump, like his federal appointments and stuff. Like
the Surgeon General is a black dude, right?
Yeah, the guy who ran for president. What's his name?
Ben Carson.
Ben Carson. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So like I can't really call him a liar, but it's like he's done a lot for black people, but he says he stands for some of the most ignorant racist stuff at the exact same time. So like I can't support him either.
How much of the
look what he did for like a justice reform. Like no other president's ever touched that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he took meetings like, some of these people should be let out. And it is disproportionately not fair for African Americans. Obama didn't do that. Like you would hope Obama would have did that. At least by the second time.
Yeah, I know. That's what I wondered.
Yeah.
I've always wondered that myself. And more, I understand that that marijuana is still illegal on the federal level. I get that, right? But at the same time, since Trump's been in office, it seems like there's just been a more relaxed attitude amongst the states of allowing it to become legal at a state level. And instead of saying, y'all wait, we're gonna double down on our efforts I'm gonna direct the DEA or the DEA to clamp down on this, or just kind of letting the states decide what they want to do with it under Trump.
Yeah, and I can understand that because states' rights it's like a Republican stance. We'll let the states decide. Small government, and I don't know how much credit I can give them because once the opinion like we're already going in that direction. I don't think there's going to be a president come back and take us back. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like we're already going in the direction of like legalize everything. I really think in our lifetime, like drugs won't be legalized, but they will be de-illegalized.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Decriminalized.
Decriminalized. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I see that happen. Just because, was it Nixon and Reagan? I think it was. That I think that the modern day war on drugs was. I could be wrong. I think I took this from a kind of a left leaning source, but that the war on drugs is strictly to oppress the minority communities.
Oh yeah, it was.
Was it Nixon?
It was. Yeah, Richard Nixon. Yeah, Richard Nixon. He did that pretty much to oppress like the Black Panther Party. And
also the gun control legislation.
Yeah, because you
like
could be open carry.
Huey and those dudes were like, we're going to stand up for ourselves, and they were packing.
Yeah.
And then they were like, oh well, we don't. Well, now we know the Second Amendment, but that's just we don't like these people carrying them. So we need to enact.
That cat law came from who's the guy Herbert Hoover. Like that was his biggest fear. Like he actually said, like his biggest fear, the biggest threat to America is that we have a black messiah figure that kind of leads African Americans, and like that's why like he went out after Martin Luther King and Malcolm X so aggressively, because he did not want he feared the African American community. He didn't want that uprising.
What do you know about MLK? I've heard that MLK is obviously iconic figure historically. But I've heard also that he had like extramarital stuff and stuff like that.
I know he did. Like,
right?
Yeah, that's no secret. Like he admitted it. Well, it's just all but admitted it. At the time, you didn't.
He's like a womanizer or something. Would you go that far?
That's a tough. So womanizer to me is like he woke up in the morning It was like, who's he going to sleep with? I think he was a guy in a unique position where he had women throwing themselves at him, and he was just a human being kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think he woke up in the morning like, who's he going to sleep with?
And I think that's something else that we take for granted.
Yeah.
That especially like maybe people the Gen Xers and millennials now, I guess. But we don't realize how close the civil rights movement was to current day activities. It's like one generation removed.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, Jesse Jackson, Martin Luther King, he ran for president, 80, 84, 82, whenever the election was.
Yeah. And I think that's, we see on the, and I think that's one of the issues that I've always had with the conservative media and the conservative leaning publications and websites and stuff. They're like, oh, well, we're past that. But the thing is, like, literally 40 years ago at this point, no, not maybe more than that, like 50 years ago, you couldn't even drink. They still had segregated water fountains. And
I think Joe Rogan had like the best take. We're a 300-year-old country. So you got 1776, 86, 1876, 1976 to now. If people lived to be 100 years old, that was 3 people ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like we're still a young country. Like there was one person ago that black people couldn't marry white people.
And literal lynchings.
Yeah. Like we just saw 2 weeks ago. Like to me, I can't tell the difference between that lynching and something that happened in the 60s.
Let me ask you this. I think that's what we need to dissect this a little bit. Let's say that he was not just out jogging. Okay. Let's say that he was breaking into or snooping around in a house under construction. Let's say that it was a white guy. Would they have went to that level of here? Let's follow this guy armed. Do you think, or do you think that it was? I don't think so.
No, definitely not.
I don't think it would have went down the way it did.
And there's been studies done
that have been like, hey, what are you doing over there? And then he would have probably ran off and been like, I just ran off. We're called the police.
Yeah, I mean, there's been studies done of like the perception of African Americans, and like it's not restricted just to white people. Even black people are more afraid and more intimidated of other African Americans to the point of like even doctors when they'll show a picture of a black person and they'll say, okay, on a scale of 1 to 5, how much pain is this person in? And if they're white, they'll be like, oh, a 5. If they're black, they'll be like, oh, a 3. So like there's just this assumption that African Americans can take more, they're more intimidating, they have a higher threshold for pain. So yeah, when you see them out in the streets, I think their tendency is to be more intimidated by them. So they felt the need to be armed. With that being said, he was still a human being. How come he didn't get his due process of, can't we just have a conversation? Why go straight to the guns?
And just to show the level of cognitive dissonance in these people, when did the Trayvon Martin thing happen? I mean, there's obviously differences in the details of what happened, but I mean, this is almost almost blow by blow the same thing. They see a guy who think they're suspicious, they follow him down, some kind of interaction happens, and the dude winds up dead.
Yeah.
Why would you not even consider that in the scheme of things? Like this is obviously not what we need to do.
Yeah, I mean, you got to know. Well, is it because they're ignorant, or is it because they think they'll get away with it? Because they
were getting away with it.
You keep saying they keep getting away with it, so it's just being reinforced.
They got away with it. It happened back in February.
Yeah. I mean, it's just May, and they just got arrested yesterday or the day before, and not because of what they did.
And it wasn't from any of the local authorities. The State Bureau of Investigation had to get involved.
Yeah, and probably a culture of where they live, who they were. It was an ex-sheriff, ex-deputy. Was the dad?
Did you read the article I sent you today?
Which one?
The one about the kid. Apparently, there's this girl that went missing, and for whatever reason, the mob thought that his boy had something to do with it, and they showed up to his house.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And there's an off-duty sheriff or deputy that worked at the jail. I think whenever I read it, he said he worked at the jail, but he had his badge and I think he had his uniform on and his gun, and he showed up.
Mob, yeah.
It was part of the angry mob that showed up at this guy's house, and the mom's like, "What are y'all doing?" And she opened the door, and he stuck his foot in, and he's like, "We're coming in." And she's like, "No, you're not." And he was pretty much forcing his way into their house. And there were people with assault rifles and all kinds of other stuff out front.
And the crazy thing is, they had the wrong house. They weren't even at the right house. They were meant to. They were looking for the neighbor, and the neighbor had moved out.
And then the cop showed up and was like, "Oh, it's not what we can do. Sorry."
Yeah.
I'm just trying to imagine like that happening to me, and then we calling the police, and then we're like, "Oh, sorry." An angry mob has every right to come onto your private property and stick their foot in your door.
Yeah.
No, they don't.
No. Yeah.
I bet I should get all their information. I want to file a harassment complaint against these people,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah. I mean, you would think, but connected people, like I said, it's hard to say you're going to arrest one of your own. You know what I mean? Like, there's a deputy in that mob. You're going to arrest a deputy?
Yes.
Are you going to? I mean, yeah, you should. Absolutely. Yeah. But.
Will they? No.
No, exactly.
Did you see this has been a few years ago. I think it's in Baltimore. There's some cop went out to this guy's house. There's this black kid. I don't know if he was disobeying his parents, but whatever happened, and the cop was like, he's like, "Man, if you weren't wearing that uniform, I'd mess you up." And then he's like, and then the cop was like, "All right, well, here, let's go then. Me and you, let's go."
That
And
guy,
he just gets in a fist fight with the kid.
that guy should run for president. Like I would totally back whatever he stands for. Like
Yeah.
he's a real life action hero. He took off his badge and he whooped that kid's ass. And his partner was ready to arrest
Yeah,
him.
the partner coming up, and he's like, "No, I got this."
Yeah. No, he's like, no, whoop his ass. It's over. It's over. Oh, I love that guy. Do we need more of that? We need more of that everywhere, all the time.
Yeah, I think at this point there's definitely a lack of respect on both sides in the communities.
And you know the best part of that story is everybody lived.
Mhm.
Everybody got to go home. You know what I mean? Kid got ass whooping, learned his lesson. Cop got some new respect.
You think the kid's friends gave him shit when they saw that on the internet?
So much deserve it.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
I bet they did.
Yeah, and I bet that kid's a better person today. You know what I mean? I really think, even if some small way, I bet he learned some kind of lesson from that.
Yeah.
Because the kid was like smart, like you said, smart enough to his mom, like out of control. Never had real life consequences, and he got some quick consequences, and he got to live.
He learned that day, didn't he?
Yeah, he learned it today. Oh, I love that cop. Oh, I want his autograph.
Yeah, that's kind of like a end of watch type stuff. Did you ever see that movie?
It sounds real familiar.
It had
Where they're trying to get home, like the police. Or...
it was Jake Gyllenhaal and who was the other? Michael Pena, I think, was the other. Jake Gyllenhaal and Michael Pena, they were Los Angeles police officers, and they went to this guy's house and they were trying to arrest him, and he's pretty much the same thing. He's like, "Come on, let's if you didn't have that, we'd throw hands and it would be over." And he's like, "All right, well, let's do it." And took his gun belt off and ended up fighting the guy and ended up beating him, I think, and arrested him. And then later on in the movie, that same guy ended up finding out information. He's like, "Hey, the cartels, they've greenlit you. They've greenlit you guys." And he only told him that because he respected him, because he approached him like a man and fought him like a man.
Yeah, that's huge, man. Like I said, anytime, any story like that where everybody gets to go home at the end of the day,
Yeah,
I'm all for it.
yeah, I'm all for it too. I'm just I think I don't know, man. I can appreciate. I obviously appreciate law enforcement and police and the whole 9 yards, but I think there is something to sometimes in some situations, not all the time, obviously, but the invading force type mentality that there's people see them as an invading force in the community.
Yeah.
You know, and there needs to be some kind of
Balance.
there needs to be some kind of balance to where obviously there's laws that apply to everybody, but there needs to be different styles of policing for people that have a different expectation, I guess,
Yeah, and
of how laws of how they should be. I'm not necessarily saying like laws should be applied differently, but that
some
you know what I
discretion.
mean? Yeah, like some discretion
Yeah,
involved. Like if somebody wants to listen to their, like if you live in okay, we'll put it this way. Like say you live in a college town, and there's loud music playing,
Mhm.
and if nobody's calling to complain, do you really need to?
Intervene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
You remember like when we were going to college in the 2000s, and we had the most overreaching. In my opinion, we had the most overreaching police department I've ever run into. I told you about my buddy. We went to a friend's birthday, and we went to a club downtown, and he walked out, looked at the police officer, and got arrested for giving the police officer a menacing look.
I don't remember that.
A menacing look. He looked at the police officer wrong, and the police arrested him. And he stood up in court.
Did he say anything to him? Like,
No, he literally.
He didn't.
He literally walked outside the door of the club, and there was already a group of guys getting arrested. I think what happened.
That they're guilty by association. They thought he was with them or something, or
He was, but I think what had happened, it was a group of police officers arresting a group of black students. 3 police officers had already arrested 3 people. I think he wanted an arrest too. Everybody else was arresting somebody. I want to arrest somebody. So he arrested this kid for giving him a menacing look.
see. I mean, at that point, are you really protecting it, sir? Are you?
Oh, not at all.
Or what crime? What are you doing at that point that's benefiting anything? If that's the way it went down, what is the guy a danger to himself or others? Is he causing any kind of annoyance or alarm to anybody?
Menacing look, Scott.
Hmm.
Menacing look. I looked at him wrong. Didn't you tell me that cool thing about the state police here? They don't believe you can arrest somebody.
Oh, that's all wives tell. I think that's just.
Go ahead, tell it again. What is it?
Oh, that you can't menace because they can't be scared or something.
Like the Kentucky State Police won't arrest somebody for menacing.
That's just like an old wives' tale. That's not true.
It's still cool though.
That's pretty badass.
It's badass. Yeah, they won't arrest anybody for menacing because you can't menace the state police.
Yeah, that's pretty badass.
Yeah. So yeah. And then the crazy part about that story was, there was I don't know, maybe 5 people got arrested that night. 4 of them were black, and the white kid that got arrested, they were like, "All right, this is your first offense. I want to see you back in here again." And the black kid he got arrested with, everybody else got fines, and nobody got time. Nobody got serious time off of that.
Like community service or
Community
something?
service and stuff. And the white kid was like, "All right, you can go ahead. I want to see you back in here again. Stay out of trouble."
Did you ever see the video of that North Carolina? I think it's either North or South Carolina where this trooper pulled over a guy, is a black dude for whatever, some traffic violation, expired tags or something.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy gets out of his car and he's like, I need to see your license. I need to get your license. And he's like, oh. And he goes into the car again. He's like, get out of the car. And he shoots him.
Oh, yeah. And he runs by and
And then the guy's like, why'd you shoot me? You told me.
Yeah. Some people just don't need to be.
I think he ended up going to jail over that. I think
Did he
went
go to jail?
Yeah, I think
he got fired.
He got fired. And I'm pretty sure he went to prison for shooting that dude.
Did he? And then luckily they both lived,
Yeah.
But,
And the Philando Castile incident.
I paid you no attention. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm afraid.
Yeah, there's just so many different things that you can see where things are done wrong, and they don't always have a racial undertone either. The one in was it Mesa, Arizona? Did you see that one where the guy was on his knees doing everything the officer was telling him, and he was like,
crawl to me.
Yeah.
They were in the hotel room.
Yeah, and he shot him.
Yeah.
And then they come to find out on the bullet ejector port or whatever it's called, it had "you're effed," but it spelled out the word on and I was like, well, this guy's just ready to kill somebody.
Yeah, and the police officer was giving him conflicting information. He's like, "All right, don't move. Now come to me," and he's basically just setting them up to be shot. Pretty much. I think it was scarier than that. I used to work with special needs young man, And then there was the case, I think it was in Florida again, where the guy, he's got this special needs, a man with autism. He's kind of having an episode. And
Is that the one in Florida where the guy was sitting there with his hands up? He's
Yeah.
like, he's not armed. He's got a toy truck.
Yeah. He's like, please don't shoot.
He lays on his back. He's laying on his back like this, and they shoot him.
Yeah. He's like, why did you shoot me? I don't know.
Yeah.
Some people just don't need police officers.
Yeah, see, and it's, apparently they can't get people to apply to be police officers now. I think because the economy was so good. It may be different now, but
Yeah, I remember in 2007 or 2009, I had applied, and it was 12 slots, and like 1,200 people applied or something like that. Yeah,
Really?
Like during the recession, like there was no job. So I don't know what it is now.
yeah, I think it's definitely. I don't think that they're getting such a big pool of applicants now in anywhere.
You think it's the negative publicity?
No, I don't think. I think it's probably maybe that, but also just like I said, the economy was so good. I think that's what I read, that there was just better paying jobs, and people just didn't want to do it now.
Yeah, and it's stressful. I mean, it's not easy. It's not an easy job.
Oh, it's absolutely not an easy job.
Yeah.
It's very stressful and very hard to do. And if you do it right, and that's what's so bad about it, that you see so many bad stories, but for every bad story that's happening, like how many incidents are happening where it's just business as usual during the day.
Like, if you were a police officer, like what would you prefer? Like a certain level of consistent stress every day, or is it harder? Is it harder?
Or just like boredom punctuated by extreme amounts of stress?
Yeah, like boredom and like, oh my gosh, I might die.
I don't know. I guess there's always that underlying level of frostiness, I guess, where you're understanding that any call could go bad, because there's always videos of incidents where just things are going fine, and then the next thing you know, something bad happens. I don't think you can really answer that. I think it's, if you're doing the job right and you're wanting to be safe, then you're always on the alert.
Yeah.
But you just got to manage it properly. With they've done a lot of studies and provided different ways of coping with it. Like just finding ways to separate the job from your home life.
Yeah, and I think that'd be the hardest part. Is like you see the worst of everybody every day. How do you not see people negatively?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You're off. How you just not trust everybody.
Yeah, that's hard, man. That's really hard. I don't know. I think the key is to have non-cop friends. I've read that because if you just surround yourself with in the
Echo
same
chamber.
the echo chamber, you keep hearing, you got to have non-cop friends that have different jobs, and keep your old friends that you had from before you became police, I guess.
Yeah. I don't think it's anything. Like it's probably the problem with why we're so polarized now.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you only listen to people who echo the same sentiment as you, like you're never going to grow. You're never going to be challenged. And then when you are, it's like, well, that person's obviously wrong.
Yeah, that's why I think it's better to not get all your information from just one place, which I think that's a lot of the problems that we're having. Just like, I only get my information from Fox News, or I only get my information from MSNBC or CNN or whatever the case is. You got to.
Yeah. And then the problem with that is, like, if we're having a discussion and I'm like, okay, according to CNN, this happened. And we're like, oh, well, they're always lying. So we can't even have a discussion anymore because we don't agree that it was a fact to begin with. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it got to that point. Maybe it's always been that way, but I don't know. Like you said, maybe we look back at the past with rose-colored glasses and think that everything was better then.
Yeah, like
whenever the then was, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, if you say that, like when was it good? When was it?
Yeah.
When was it smooth? If not now, I mean, obviously, okay, we're in a kind of a issue. We're kind of in a special place in history right now, but
Mm-hmm.
You know, prior to 3 months ago, when was it okay?
Yeah, I feel pretty optimistic about the future. I mean, you can't help but not if you do. You know, like there's, especially if you identify as a Christian and you believe, you know, like we do, then you can't get bogged down in the worldly things, I guess, and you got to know that God's in control, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's a great place to close right there, man.
Okay.
God is in control. Again, reiterate that raffle. Check in with me, Pueblo 2 of Richmond for raffle tickets. We're going to do that May 25th. This has been Learning to Love the Apocalypse with Scooter and TOmate.
Let's all learning to love each other. I think that's.
If it weren't for social distancing, I'll hug you right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you keep it over there. All right. Anything else?
No,
Scooter?
just tune in next week, and I think we need to structure our what we want to talk about more. And you know,
Oh my
maybe
gosh, there's so many things we need
there's
to
so
do.
many things we want to talk about. But then, you know, whenever it's like, oh, I wish I could remember what I was going to say about this topic. You know, like if we know we're going to talk about it, and we need to just kind of have our stuff off to the side.
If it makes you feel any better, absolutely nobody's going to watch this.
No, no, that's fine. But one day, whenever we're famous, then people will be like, hey, look at this old archival footage of TOmate and Scooter. This is great.
All right. Anything else, Erica? All right. All right, guys. See you next time.